What day is it?
For you, Judgment Day.
30 seconds to drop!
Come find me when you wake up!
Tomorrow, at the beach. I live the same day over and over again. How do I control it?
You have to die
Every day.
until the Omega's destroyed.
Man, your
Nice.
trailers are just getting better and better.
Thank you, man.
They really
Edge of
are.
Tomorrow. I had to edit so much for Edge of Tomorrow because the trailers are absolute garbage for this movie. I understand why it flopped.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Don't worry. How you doing today, buddy? We haven't.
I'm
We actually.
doing good,
I've
man.
been so busy lately. You and me haven't talked nearly as much as we do normally.
Yeah, this week we haven't talked a lot just before the stream and with the intros and stuff, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, how are you doing, man?
I think my job's trying to murder me, but other than that, I'm doing fine.
Don't worry,
Sorry.
I'll resuscitate you, man. I'll take
Oh,
care of it.
yes. But yeah, so we're supposed to have 2 guests today, but only one has shown up. So
Yes.
we like him better by default automatically now, so it's-
And yeah, hello, chat. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your Saturday morning, afternoon, or evening, in my case, with us. So
depends where you're from.
true, depends where you are, because I think we have
We have a
Oli's in the morning.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, well,
it's,
so I'm in the afternoon, you're the evening.
afternoon, for
Canoli's
me, it's
technically morning. We have all 3 phases of the day
Oh, yeah.
covered right now.
Mhm.
Speaking of cannoli, I think we should get him out here.
Let's do it.
You may have you already said his name, but you may have seen a blurry photo of this guy at your local pastry shop. Some some call him the baklava Bigfoot, others call him the wafer Wendigo, but here we call him the cannoli Sasquatch. What's up, my friend?
Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm sorry, I was intoxicated by Uninspired's accent there. So
Oh yeah,
He
the
caught me
friend-
like whenever he laughs mid intro, I can't help but laugh at it. I'm just
Yeah.
like,
yeah. You're hilarious, Uninspired. Okay.
Oh,
You're
thank you.
hilarious.
It's-
Yeah,
it's-
thanks for
it's
having
the
me on,
French
man.
genes.
It's something.
It's actually it's funny. So like me and Canola, you and me have streamed together once, and I think we spoke to each other for about 3 seconds on that stream. It was so packed.
Was that the B sub stream? Yeah, that was a lot
Yeah,
of people on
I
that
think
stream.
I think there was 9 people on that
Yeah.
stream, and I think our interactions were probably about 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah,
It
probably.
was like,
That's all right though. Make up for it today.
oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, you and me have been in talks.
Yeah, we've been
for
chatting
a
and
while
stuff.
now.
Yeah.
So this is actually long overdue.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I've been watching you guys' show. I love it. And then of course we picked a good movie. Very
Well,
good.
Yeah,
movie.
I can't take credit for
Cannoli
that.
picked it.
Uninspired.
Uninspired yelled at
actually-
me.
So I actually like I'm just gonna go right into it because usually the first thing
Yeah.
we do is talk about the
Mhm.
our background with the movie. The background for me with this movie is last night I had never seen it before.
Wow.
Not out of like choice, not like out of spite or anything. It just
Yeah.
I just never watched it. I always
Yeah.
meant to. I knew
Mhm.
about the history of it, how it was based on the Japanese light novel, and it was a commercial flop and all these things, but like
Mhm.
very well received by people, and I just never got around to it until yesterday, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I can't wait
Yeah.
to talk about this one.
Yeah, thank God we forced you to watch it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I
Uninspired he uninspired yelled at me. He said I gotta pick an action movie, and I said fine.
Yeah,
So I was like, hey,
couldn't
how
pick
about
one.
I literally was actually just talking about this movie with somebody else the day he told me that. I was like, you know what? Let's do The Edge of Tomorrow because nobody ever talks about this movie. It's like a forgotten. Not that it's forgotten now. It's probably more popular now than it was when it came out.
yeah.
but
It was forgotten when it first came out.
Yeah.
Now it's like a cult following.
it is, yeah. So I was like, that's a perfect choice. I was like, I can watch this movie 100 times. So good.
Same.
Thanks for the inspiration, man.
I mean, you lived through the movie 100 times too. So
That is true.
Wait a minute, did you just say that you thanking him for the inspiration? That's the opposite of what he's supposed to be.
Oh, that's right. You uninspired me. I don't want to be on the show anymore. I'm done.
oh,
No, there goes the show.
there goes the croissants, man.
Croissant.
The croissant, yeah.
But yeah, uninspired. I mean, you were young. You said it backstage. You were like 10 when this movie came out, or something like that.
Well,
or-
this was 2014, so I was probably around 12 when this came out.
Well, okay, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love Edge of Tomorrow. I just think that it's such a rewatchable movie.
Oh yeah.
And I love the score too. I basically love everything about this movie. I'm gonna be praising, but it's probably around the third act where it falls a bit apart for me.
Mhm.
But I'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, Cannoli, what about you, man?
You know, I was I was like kind of like Dark. I never really I didn't see it in the movie theaters. It wasn't on my radar. I remember the advertising for this movie when it came out, and it was terrible advertising.
It was
They couldn't even get the title correct. Like they kept saying "Live, Die, Repeat," and then they pretty much left Edge of Tomorrow off everything, even on the posters. When I went to the movies to see other things, Edge of Tomorrow is this tiny little writing in the edge, "Live, Die, Repeat." So I was like, "Oh, okay, that's weird." And so I watched it like 2 years later when it came out on whatever rental, and I was like, "Hey, why not? It's Tom Cruise. It's an action movie. Maybe it'll be good." I was just like, wow, what the hell? What was the studio thinking with this advertising for this? But I agree with you. Like, it's a quick movie. They go through things very fast, but it's done very well. This is one of those instances where if you just streamline everything in a movie and it's fun, and you have the right casting, it just fell into place, man. And again, since then, I've owned it. I own it, and I've watched it a bunch of times, and I had no problem rewatching it again this week twice. That's how much I liked it. But
the movie is basically a montage, man.
Yeah, and I agree with you. The third act does kind of fall apart a little. It's not like terrible, but it does. It doesn't have the same.
It starts to fall apart a little bit. There's a couple of plot holes that I'm going to mention.
Yeah.
This is a Wayland Bacifus. I've been corrected in this asking, is this Emily Blunt's best movie? And I don't know if it's her best movie, but it's definitely the one where she goes out of her comfort zone a lot.
Yeah,
and she definitely is. She's doing different things in this. And that's sometimes the most memorable movies. Whether or not it's her best performance, memorable, probably yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I love her performance in this. Even Tom Cruise. I just think that Tom Cruise.
You mean this performance?
Great.
Don't worry, we'll be seeing that a lot today.
Best acting ever, right there.
Oh yeah.
That's the sexy yoga in the middle of combat scene.
Right in the middle of the combat. Yeah, it's a great intro to her character, isn't it? It's basically it keeps you focused right away on her.
I will say this about her, since we're talking about her, that it is actually and we've seen this in other films with these time loop concepts. It's really hard for an actor to act in those instances because they have to pretend every single scene that they don't know what happened previously. So to make it convincing is actually pretty difficult.
Yeah. And I like that we get, like, in 2014, right? We get this strong female character, right? That's but it's explained in the movie as to, as it goes on, why she is as well trained as she is, right? Because Tom Cruise has to go through the same thing she did. But if that was made today, don't
worry, guys.
If that was made today, you wouldn't be getting a scene like that. And then if you were, she'd have no training and just be like the best of the best. But I like how they explain it as the movie goes on. You're like, okay, and it just makes sense. She's a badass, but it makes sense why, and she's vulnerable too. She needs Tom Cruise's help, so it's a good balance.
She dies a lot in this movie, like a lot.
So it's just fun. She was good. It's just good. They had a good chemistry together too, so it was good.
Toward the end, I guess, Iceman. I mean, I know you're not asking a question, but we can always discuss some other time loop movies and like where this lands in the hierarchy.
Yep. Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job with Source Code too.
That was a good movie. That was a very underrated movie too.
But yeah, I mean, we can try to hold off a little longer for Zach, but I think we should just get into it and fuck him.
He's Canadian. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah. So we have Cannoli, Sasquatch, and Zax today, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat.
Zax will be joining us at some point. He's on Canadian time, so
he is.
He's working out his shoulders.
And say hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. And this is going to be Two Hosts Presents Edge of Tomorrow.
And we are the two hosts, and we often have guest hosts as well. So it's...
Listen, Cannoli brought some cannolis. It's cool.
I did, but I'm saving those
Hey,
for after the stream.
a good cannoli is almost unbeatable, man. Like that, there's
It's
nothing.
good pastry.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in a bakery for a very long time when I was in high school and college, and
Ooh.
there's nothing that matches cannoli cream in richness. There's just
Yeah,
I don't
if it's
care what
done
it is.
well, it's
Yeah.
excellent. Yeah, it's about 15,000 calories, but hey,
Oh
we won't
yeah, I
talk-
mean, you can't eat too many of them. You're
we
gonna
won't
die,
talk about
but
that. Yeah.
All right, so well, let's get into this, man.
That's just how we roll around here. We just fuck them. Let's just go.
All right. So we start with, of course, the news compilation, and this one, I think it's actually the real meteor that crashed in Russia in 2013. So a year prior, before the film was released, which is pretty interesting to put. And we get all the exposition that we need in a quick and efficient way. Plus, we get the world building too. And France was decimated, as you guys can see. So, you know,
as it should be. That seems to happen in every major war in the last like 150 years. Like just France just gets destroyed.
We don't need France. It's okay.
Listen, man, we had Napoleon. He was there for us. That's
One thing I
will
will say though. One thing I will say, if you pay attention to the map in that scene, I love the fact. I'm sure it was done on purpose. But they choose to start it in Germany, and then the way that it spreads out is almost identical to the way Nazi Germany spread. And I do think that's on purpose. I don't think that was an accident.
Right. That's pretty interesting. I didn't actually pick up on that one.
There's a lot of parallels between this and the actual world wars and the way. I mean, just right down to her nickname, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, so we finally get William Cage talking about Operation Downfall, and we see basically what is the recruitment stuff. So we get a little glimpse of what the armor looked like. They're essentially just trying to convince people to go into war, and there it is.
I love the armor because I love that it's practical. It's not like over embellished, like kind of like a what's the I can't remember all of a sudden. Warhammer 40K. Yeah. Like it's not like it doesn't have like all this extra stuff. It's just a very basic exoskeleton.
Right.
And
it's realistic.
It is. It's actually real. There's no CG involved.
There's no CGI. Yeah, it looks good. You're right.
They weighed like 80 to 90 pounds each, depending on the model that the person was wearing. I think Emily Blunt's was a little more streamlined. I think hers was closer to 80 pounds. And Tom Cruise had like the more generic model, which was closer to 90. Right. Hers also doesn't have any guns on it, which makes it lighter. So
yeah, she just has a pistol and a sword. Since we are talking about her now, like Cannoli, since you're a guest, what do you think about her style of combat for the enemy that she has to fight, with the sword?
Well, I guess it does kind of make sense. Like, I understand that the whole with the guns on the exoskeletons and the missiles, and it's like she's mastered this sword thing, and you find out why later on in the movie while she's helping Tom Cruise train. At first, like when I first saw the movie, I was like, this is weird. Like, why wouldn't she have weapons that you could kill more of the enemy at once, right? You have this giant freaking sword, like a Final Fantasy sword. It's just like, what is the point of this? But then you kind of understand as the movie goes on, her fighting style. It's unique, but it makes sense for her character. So
there's actually also a reason in the book.
Right.
So now, despite the fact I only saw this movie about 12 hours ago, I did a shit ton of research. And apparently in the book, it's explained that she kept running out of ammo in her time loop. So she finally she trained herself to no longer require guns because she could go further into the fights. So that's why she doesn't use guns, at least not primarily.
Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense considering that this would be what happened to her would have been a while back. So they would have probably made some progresses, and because of her exploits in Verdun, they essentially made the exoskeleton suits better. So that is
sort of. So I mean, I don't want to get too far into it. It's kind of. They didn't make them that much better because of her exploits. They assumed that they were basically plug and play, and anybody could just be this awesome warrior.
That's true, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, we need like 50 Rita Vertaskis, and that's probably it, and that's how we win. And so continuing, we get to the United Defense Force headquarters. Oh, look. Warhammer is good, but these people need to be massive. Like they need to be the
well, yeah, the
mounted.
people in Warhammer are like 9 feet tall.
I was
going
gonna
to
say
like
they're
that.
giants, yeah.
Hold on, we have Zach's. Here.
Uh-oh.
I had an intro written
God.
for him, but he's late,
God.
so he doesn't get one.
That's
There he
fair.
is.
That's fair.
There we
Yeah,
go.
sorry about that, guys. Sorry.
No problem,
Sorry
man.
about that.
Siri boot it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
How you
Hey,
doing, man?
Zach.
He's doing shoulder workouts. That's why.
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's a bit it's busy here on the weekend during the day.
Yeah,
So
I can imagine.
No problem.
So since we just got into it, you want to just give a really quick your background with the film, so that way we can catch you up a little bit in the stream.
yeah, I saw it in the theaters when it was released, and I almost missed it because I thought like the marketing was bad, and the even the name I thought was bad, and so I didn't rush to go see it, but I did see it in the theater. I'm glad I did, and I really enjoyed it. I had low expectations, so it blew those away for sure. And ever since, it's been like especially for like the type of film that it is, it's one of my favorites. Time travel, sort of sci-fi-ish, alien invasion. It's got all those pieces that I like, and it's a fun film, and I thought it's well done. There's some stuff I watched it again last night. The early stuff, there are some things that I didn't really notice the first couple of times because I was so excited for the action scenes. But if you watch, some of the setup doesn't really make any sense. But ultimately, by the end, I don't really care that much. So I guess it pays off in that way. But one of the early things was how he's just been on TV recruiting millions of people, and no one recognizes him anywhere.
That was one of the plot holes I had written down.
Yeah.
So that was one, but like there's a few moments, like the one where he becomes basically he turns from Tom Cruise to like Maverick, and it's a definable moment in the film, and I like how they do that. It's okay with me, and I think it's one that people should not miss for sure, even with the flaws. And plot
Yeah, I
holes.
mean, even the greatest movies of all time have flaws when you really rip back the carpet and like, oh, well, there's a crack under the floor, But you're not. There's no such thing as a perfect story. But if there's small enough problems that they're ignorable, that's a sign of good writing. That the person was able to at least get you past them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
apparently, Mrs. Sassy Sasquatch is really excited in the chat today. She just got a bag of panties and she's just throwing them at everybody. She's like,
nice.
She likes to share,
that's why we have cannoli on stream. That's why.
That's it.
Exactly. That's all it is. Being
All
used.
right.
It's okay.
All right, so let's continue.
So yeah, you didn't miss much. We're only like 5 slides deep, so
yeah. And everybody in the chat, this is Zax. For those who don't know, he's one of the best of the best. He's here.
I'm here.
Yep, he's
Don't
finally here.
build up his ego like that.
Best of the best.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I will say this: we gained 6 viewers as soon as he showed up. So he's doing something.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry. I stand corrected.
All right,
I'll take it.
Yep.
And, so basically, what we understand is that when Private Cage meets Mad Eye Moody for the first time, that he's.
I was thinking more of the guy from In Bruges, but that's fine. Mad Eye Moody works.
Yeah, this works.
And so you essentially learn that he's a media guy, and he was contacted to sell the invasion. So from what I understand is that he has to go on the front with a film crew, essentially like Starship Troopers. But yeah, I think that it's actually a good way to approach his character, because the fact that it tells you how much the world went to shit. Because if you look at what happened in so let's say Iraq or Afghanistan, this is stuff that really happened. You had people that were on the ground over there that were essentially just let's say scamming the government, posing as contractors and stuff like that. So it was essentially the Wild West, and it's just a way to show you how much this world is fucked up. And yeah, he does the bad thing of blackmailing the general, which
so stupid.
Yes.
He was
Backfires
just desperate at that point. He's like, I'll do anything to get out of this.
Yeah.
Let's
So
go ahead and
the way that they want to use him is actually very reminiscent of like Vietnam.
Yeah.
The way that they used journalists during Vietnam.
Yep.
It's a little bit more crazy what they want to do, But then again, they also don't know that this is essentially a suicide mission for everybody involved. Yeah. So I mean, actually, they never know that. They because of the
because he says that there's minimal movement at the front, which is why they're planning to go there. They don't know that it's an ambush.
Right. It's a trap.
It's minimal movement. It's minimal movement, unlike this scene right here. Plenty of movement in that scene.
Oh yeah.
Cruz plays it so well too. He's just, you can see the fear in his eyes.
Yeah,
his facial. He actually acted this out pretty well. Like obviously he's not known to be a great actor, but I think he played this part well, especially in the beginning.
Copa's here, and he's
shots fired.
I mean,
wow. That's messed up, man. I thought we were brother. I thought we were paisans.
Now there's too much tea on here too much tea on this panel.
He can't handle it.
No,
yeah,
he
too
can't
much
take the tea.
testosterone, man. That's it.
Yeah.
Copa, he's like 2 steps away from just like streaming shirtless.
Listen, he'll be streaming shirtless. He'll be talking about family. He'll essentially just set up his camera outside his house at the cookout every Sunday.
Be like, look, this is how a man grills, and watches Arnold movies while he does it.
Wearing an Italian flag bandana around his head.
Oh man, this is gonna be a long stream. I can already tell.
Yeah, it is.
So he essentially gets arrested and sent to Heathrow, and that's what they've turned into the base, and he's stripped from his major title, and this is where we get Bill Paxton, which I fucking love in this role.
I love Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He was so good in this. Yeah,
he's definitely channeling. I don't remember the sergeant's name from Aliens.
Full Metal Jacket. Oh
no, from Aliens. the sergeant, like the black guy with he's always chomping the cigar, and he's like, yeah. He's definitely channeling that.
Oh yeah,
Which I mean, obviously he was in that movie, so it makes sense.
I've got a little clip to show of Bill Paxton.
Master Sergeant Farrell. Master Sergeant Farrell, you're an American.
No, sir. I'm from Kentucky.
Actually, for those of you not from America, that's actually pretty common for certain states. I don't know if it's, but Texas has a tendency to like be like, no, I'm a Texan, I'm not an American. Like, so it's like,
right.
For me, it's just Tom Cruise's reaction. He just looks at him like, what the fuck? And
movie Cynic is in the house, everybody.
Hey, Cynic.
Hey, Cynic.
What's up,
talk about a pair of titties makes you want to get on your knees and beg for butter.
Beg for butter. Best line in the whole movie.
Hey, Cynic, I have True Lies on the schedule. If you love that movie as much as you're implying right there, you're totally welcome on that stream.
There you go.
So yeah, this is essentially Heathrow Airport that they've transformed. And one thing I do love about the world I was talking about with Dark Hour just before you guys came on and before we went live was how good and realistic and grounded everything comes through in the world building and how they emphasize on it a lot.
Well, they right off the bat, I mean, you do get a lot of the language. You can hear the languages over the PA system. Like one person speaking Japanese, so it's very it brings together the fact that they are united. It's not just like we've already been told that, but now we're seeing it. We're seeing that
the actual United Nations.
And on top of that, it happened so quickly they didn't have a chance to like unify the language or anything. It's just they have to just every announcement has to be in every language.
Kind of like Pacific Rim. Yeah.
Hey. No parallels there.
And so we continue, and he thinks that he's going to the phone, but the major tells him that he's classified as a deserter. And so no one is to believe whatever he says. He's going to do everything to try and get out of active duty. And he essentially meets J Squad, which, what do you guys think about J Squad?
Yeah, one of you guys go first.
Let's say it's just the plot convenience. Like they're just there to kind of move the plot along. I mean, I like the guy in the pink robe. That's what I see you wearing on Inspired on your weekend.
Yeah, listen, I actually like wearing pink stuff. I think that
exactly
well.
So, yeah,
Uninspired, just sitting there in his pink robe with his milk.
Yep,
twirling it in his cup. Yeah.
Listen, I drink a lot of Nesquik anyway, so that would be on brand for me.
So my opinion of J Squad is, I mean, it works for the movie. So this isn't a criticism, but they are extremely the generic, group of misfits in the military. There is a lot of stereotypes in this group, but it works.
It's such a diverse group too, which kind of on a
Yeah, of course.
rewatch or my fourth watch or whatever, it's like, okay, well, I mean, how did these guys actually end up in this unit together? I don't need to know that, I guess. It doesn't
Right.
take away from the film, but I do think about that, like, and they act as though they've been through so many wars and so many battles,
Mhm.
but
Right.
I don't know how that could have happened where they all survived.
Yeah,
Right.
Like, so
true.
those are a couple things that
Yeah,
I
they're
noticed,
basically
but I
just
still like
there
it.
to- Yeah,
It's
they're just
heavily
there for the end.
It's heavily implied that the mimics throughout the film, and it's even like not even just heavily applied, it's actually stated that the mimics have been kind of playing with the
Right.
world military, giving them false hopes in a sense.
That's true.
And so that's probably how these guys all and girl survived these encounters. Because I think at one point, I forget his name all of a sudden, the one says something about being in like 20 battles.
Yeah.
The
And
brother,
they like
I think his name is Ford.
that's it. And they argue back and forth like who's been in more battles and stuff. So like clearly there's been a little bit of string pulling as to how they've survived up to this point.
Yep. Yeah. And plus, I think that, in addition to what Zach said, the fact that they all seem like they come from very different places, I
Backgrounds,
think it's
yeah.
what makes them unique to the audience, because you're like, oh,
Right.
these guys are so distinct from each other, except, when they try and pull off that one generic silent dude, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody even remembers him
Yeah,
later in
yeah.
the movie.
Yeah. They even joke about it. It's like this guy doesn't talk much, so I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And
He always
so-
dies right away. So
Yeah, and the general makes them eat the cards, and all of
Mhm.
this is essentially just the first 20 minutes being complete setup of everything. And yeah, I've got a little clip to show. So
Private Cage is under delusion does not belong here. We must dissuade him of this delusion. Tomorrow morning you will be baptized, born again.
man, I just love Bill Paxton's delivery and
Dude,
all of
he's
He
this.
does
so
such
good.
a great job.
He's so good.
This was
Look,
like one of his last movies too. I think this was like maybe like he had like 2 or 3 movies after this. So
I
like,
think so, yeah. But yeah, so we get a closer look as to what the basically all of the equipment looks like. So this is Kimmel out here, butt naked, just
Bare ass to the world.
yeah.
yeah.
You fight
Let it hang.
balls out, literally. I love that line.
Yeah.
It's like-
And so you just got everyone like being happy and everything, and you have Tom Cruise here all puppy faced, and he's just like,
Yeah. What do I do?
Yeah,
not even puppy faced. It's like fucking deer in headlights.
yeah. So this is like the closer look at all the exoskeletons and all
Yeah.
of that, and I just think that it's good, proper world building,
Yeah, oh,
and even
God.
just all of
So-
this showing the planes and how they work. Yeah, go
Mhm.
ahead.
So I was gonna say I do want to touch back on the exosuits since Zach didn't get a chance to share his opinion on it. But we could circle. Now that we've shown them all, we could circle back on that.
I think that
Yeah.
they're very cool visually. I think I do like how they look in this, and they don't really explain. They don't have to explain really how why the suits are different. Like there's not a ton of uniformity. They are somewhat the same, but you can tell that Rita has her crew has their own different set of armor that they
Right.
get to use. But I think that like one thing I noticed in the first couple of fights is how much they don't appear to be power armor, because it's like these guys are having to carry this through the beach, and it doesn't look like it's like they're not springing forward, or there's no leaps and bounds happening. It's like and it's effects, so it's fine, but it doesn't seem to be helping a ton of people. But later in the film, when you get Cage and Rita together, they're flying in these suits. Like those guys are
Yeah.
going full speed. But early on, the idea I have is that these aren't the best suits you could possibly have because they look heavy on the beach.
That's
So
true.
We did touch on that before. So one of the things that it's so hard to talk about this movie linear, like in a lineal
Right.
fashion because of its style. But so because of the fact that Rita has had her, ability to use these things 300 plus times before she and got her name and all that stuff, she has a lot more training than anybody believes her about. Because that was her, according to everybody, that was the first time she was ever in that suit.
Right.
But she's literally trained with it for well over a year worth of days. And
Right.
it's part of the whole narrative is that it starts right in the beginning with the news where they say, with minimal training, you could do well with this. And that's not the
Right.
truth at all. None of these, that's why that's part of the reason why everyone seems like they're dragging them, because they aren't trained in these things, at least not much.
Oh,
Right.
And it's a situation where they are now, so he gets more training in it than anybody has. That's why he's able to do the spring jumps and all the different shots and stuff, because he's been trained in it for countless days. We don't even know.
Well, yeah,
you
could see when he's walking out, when they're finally going to the plane in this beginning scene, he's like stumbling almost as he's walking in the suit because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and everybody else
he can't even turn the safety off.
Yeah, he can't turn the safety. He doesn't know where the safety is, but he's like having a hard time walking in it because he's never been in it before. But you're right. So with the time stuff, he obviously learns how to use it and perfect the use of it. So, yeah, I want one.
There was diversity in the film, surprisingly.
Yeah,
Princess Fiona. I'm with you. I thought the diversity didn't exist until like 2020. So
yeah, I thought that what was it that after diversity didn't exist until after Trump was out of office.
I was gonna say,
They fixed it.
They fixed it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, but more about the world building. I like how we see all of this and just how everyone's moving in a unit. Everything just seems so organized, and even it shows you the way that people enter these, type of helicopters that they have. It's just small details like this that you don't really see in movies nowadays that much.
No,
and yeah. So Dark Hour, look at who it is. Can you see her in the back?
Oh yeah. What are you saying? Are you saying this?
Oh yeah.
I wish we just had that as a loop for our background.
Just in the background. I'm okay with that.
Well, let me play the clip of the first time we see her.
Bloody hell! It's the Full Metal.
That's her brother. That's her real life brother.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
That's hilarious. She probably enjoyed that even more.
Oh, she probably did.
Yeah.
And, I took these stills because it just shows you basically the massive wave of how big of a scale this battle.
It looks good too. Like it looks.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah,
it looks really.
They based it on D-Day.
Right.
Which actually, if I recall correctly, I remember reading that they specifically released this movie on D-Day because of that. So it was
okay. Mm-hmm. That's pretty interesting.
And actually, that's another parallel. The name of the operation downfall is actually the name of the canceled invasion campaign for Japan when we decided to Oppenheimer the shit out of them. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is World War II based and World War I based in this movie, which is really awesome.
Yeah, and so we get Tom Cruise in the plane, and this motherfucker explodes. And there we are.
There's a dead man in your suit.
Yeah, it's good to have these little moments of having the side characters say all of this stuff because it makes you keep track of the time travel aspect of the story. Yeah. And man, just when it crashes, it's essentially hell. Just see all of this.
Look how good this looks for 2014.
It's crazy.
And like today, you can't even get a decent CGI scene in a movie with $300 million budgets.
No.
Yeah.
And this looks. I was really impressed with how well the special effects looked in this movie, especially for 2014.
Yeah,
and that was an issue for like the World War II. Especially around that time, like with these, like it's not a perfect drop. There's no such thing as a perfect drop. You get dropped, you get lost. Everyone's everywhere. It's scattered. And this was a good example of just pure chaos.
Where they did a great job at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great form of chaos. I mean, look at this guy, Kimmel. He just lands and
I made it.
Nope.
And of course, it's the fat guy. It's got to be the fat guy who's just like derp, derp, derp. Yeah.
Listen, he didn't want to move. He should have moved. That was it. You should be running when you land.
Yeah, stop celebrating and put some underwear on next time. Maybe
it's actually funny. I always tell people when I'm training them, because a lot of people will like, whether it be striking, they'll like throw a punch and like leave it out, or they'll like in grappling, they'll do something, they'll sit there, and I'm like, don't admire your work till it's done.
Yeah,
this is exactly what he's doing. He's admiring the invasion that's currently happening.
It's like we landed. That was enough. That was enough for him. And I mean, as we were talking about with the carnage before, just look at this, man. They really just take a grounded approach and showing you all of this stuff, even just the planes falling from the sky. And what I think is the most interesting of this is that it just shows you absolute carnage, but you don't ever see the enemy. which is
Right.
just
Yeah,
preparing the audience
which is even
for,
more.
like,
Yeah, it's so
exactly.
intimidating. Yeah.
And a movie that I can compare this with is The Tomorrow War. So The Tomorrow War, essentially, it does the same thing where you see all these people coming back without limbs, having the most like horrible trauma, and you're just there going to be shipped again. So they don't even bother showing you what the enemy looks like in that movie until
Right.
you've seen it with your own eyes.
Yeah.
So it just works subconsciously. Listen, the gravity, it was going up, then it went down, then it got flat. That's how it went.
Yep.
And so the plane that crashed in the clip that was behind Tom Cruise was Rita Vertasky's plane, and she just dies instantly. You can see the 2 fireballs that hit her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's so sad. And
the thing is, he even kind of looks at it very confused. Like, wait a minute, because he knows who she is. Everybody knows who she is.
Yeah.
She's the angel of Verdun, you know, and she just dies as if she was a first day recruit. And to him, that makes no sense. And you can see it in his eyes. He's just like,
he's like, if she can't make it,
what
about me?
So like that's one of many deaths she will have.
Oh yes, for sure. And so he tries to flee after seeing her die because he's just terrified at this point, and he gets found by J Squad, who are just like, "Yo, fuck it, you're coming with us. Where do you want to go to?"
I love how he's still running around being like, "How do I turn off the safety? How do I turn off the safety?"
Yeah, it's in different languages on his scene. Like, what
it's in Japanese.
And we finally get our first, view of the mimic. And you know what? I'll just show the mimic's destructive power. I've got a clip for that.
Yeah,
man,
that's not intimidating at all.
Badass.
Yeah,
That
seems like a tough enemy to beat.
I'm not highlighting this comment because of the comment. I just want to know.
Flaccid.
So does a flaccid phoenix just not ever rise again? Is that how that doesn't work?
Well,
hey, Flaccid.
Flaccid's a bundle of sticks, man.
Depends if he takes his medication or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite alien villain invader. Well, I don't know what term you want to use for it, but they actually, the reason why they're called mimics, I looked this up. I was curious because they don't really seem to be mimicking humans. At first, when I was watching the movie, like I said, this is me going into it for the first time, so I don't really know much about it. I was like, mimic. I assumed that they were mimicking human, like look like us and like do our stuff. I was like, that's not at all. So I had to look it up, and it turns out that they mimicked, in the book at least, the first creature that they encountered was starfish. So they mimicked starfish, and so they can mimic stuff, but they weren't mimicking humans. So that confused me a little.
I
bit.
gotcha.
That looks like one fucked up starfish, man.
I think it looks more like an octopus or a squid.
I was gonna say,
octopus for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I personally think, this is just my personal opinion, if aliens ever attacked and existed, I do not think that they would look humanoid. I think that they would look something much more like this creature, or they would be a sort of insect. But I think that this is like perfectly nailed in terms of monster design. It just looks so good. And we even get a view of the alpha. So this is essentially after J Squad is entirely dead, and he's just trying to shoot, and he kills that mimic that we saw, and the alpha pops up. And this is what the alpha looks like, which so I would understand why the alpha would be on the battlefield, because it's probably what they think they're gonna win, essentially. But
no. So basically, the way that this works is, and I figured it out by the end. Like at first, it made no sense to me. The alpha is there as essentially an observer, and if it dies, the battle did not go properly, and it resets it back to the day before. So that way they never know that. So it is essentially a save scum in like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I never understood it. I just thought it was like a general leading its troops into battle, since they knew
it's actually a fail safe. If it dies, the Omega knows that the battle did not go properly, and that we have to we try a different strategy. So basically, what he ends up doing is what they are doing the whole time.
Okay. I mean, I like the alpha design too, just having it tint of blue as opposed to the orange of everything else. Yeah,
a little bigger.
And so yeah, let's look at Tom Cruise die in a horrific way. Yeah,
That's not just
They actually they remind me of Transformers, like maybe the first film, where it's just this mess of metal and you can't tell what's doing what. But this is on purpose, like it's supposed to look like that. So like, I think it works well.
Yeah.
Transformers just looks like a bunch of junk clashing sometimes.
Yeah,
It does.
Can't tell who's who.
What-
And,
what
These
horrible
people melt
death.
you. Yeah, these people melt you when you shoot them. That's great. It's a
Yeah.
good way to go.
And so he basically just wakes up, and I like the first revival that he experiences because most of it is just him being confused, and he doesn't really change a lot. So I think the only thing that he tries to change is trying to warn Kimmel, who's gonna get crashed by the plane. So you know what, let me just play the clip so that we can finally see him get squished. Damn. The amount of
Ouch.
sand that they threw on Tom Cruise for that.
Yeah,
Looks
right.
incredible.
This
And,
the whole battle scene took almost 4 months to film, and it was supposed to originally
Wow.
take 2 weeks.
Oh,
But the
yeah,
problem-
really?
Yeah,
That's a
so
big
the-
difference.
yeah, it was a huge underestimation.
Wow.
And the reason why is because this was a man-made beach with a lot of moving parts.
Mhm.
So it kept having to basically be rebuilt, and they were also making a bunch of changes on the fly, like to scenes. So like things that we see in the final cut were not in the script. A lot of script changes happened on the fly, and so they were essentially like pissed off the whole time when they were filming these scenes too. They're in these heavy ass suits. They don't know what they're doing.
Oh man, but yeah, so he ends up also saving Rita Rataski, and he gets what was intended for her, basically. Yeah.
Jesus, Andrew. Wow.
Oh man.
Fiona's got a good point that blue for some reason is the universal color for time travel, except for in the MCU where it's green for some reason.
Yeah, that's true. It's just green. And yeah, so he basically just dies, and Rita even steals his battery pack. So I think that's the first time that we have
That was
the
funny.
battery pack set up.
He's like, did you just take my battery?
And he just dies a horrible death again with the mimic, essentially, I think, just eating his face, something like that. And so it's the second revival where he just takes the crazy route, and he just tries to tell everyone, yo, this is this. I know who you are. And man,
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would do if I was in his situation. I'd probably just get locked up instantly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, how could you not lose your mind? Like this is happening how many times? Twice now, and you're like, wait, what's going on here?
I thought that
Honestly,
helped.
he has exactly the reaction that I think.
Yes.
David would
Pretty
have.
much.
Yes,
You're like,
he
what?
does.
Just frantic and like it's just you know.
It's even implied that Rita has had that exact same reaction, and went extremely similarly to her.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
I'm glad they took the time to show that, to actually
Yeah.
have it make sense to us, and you could relate to it better when he's not immediately amazing because he lived that one day. He's confused and he's not that much better, but it's all incremental, and so I
he
like
fucks
that.
up a lot. Like
He does.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to it yet, but my favorite fuck up is definitely when he like rolls and gets run over by the truck.
What were you thinking?
It's like, well, at this point already, this is where we start to get the montage aspect of the movie, because at this point we don't really know how many times he dies, but he just keeps getting better. And you know, we get the Tom Cruise run, and
There you go.
damn, as Zach said, it looks heavy as
looks
fuck.
Yeah, that's a workout right there.
Mhm.
It is.
It's, yeah, like
Yeah,
this is how we know how many times he's just doing stuff, because they give us these small, basically, checkpoints, like a game.
Yeah,
It is like a game.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a video game. It's exactly
Well, that's what
it is.
that's what the author originally came up. A lot of people thought
Yeah.
that this was like he thought about Groundhog Day, but it was
Mhm.
really he looked at himself playing video games as like, well, now I know what's around that corner, and he just reverse engineered a story from that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that they should actually make a proper Edge of Tomorrow video game, because I know that there's a mobile tie-in game that I used to play when I was a kid, and it was pretty cool. I even
Was it really?
it. Yeah. I mean, it
There's
was
never
fine.
been. He's lying. There's never been a good mobile
on.
game.
Come on, Uninspired. Stop lying.
Hey, listen,
No, but
man.
yeah, I think that it would actually. But you know what? I think that the what they would end up having to do with this kind of game would annoy people in the modern day. Like that would be something that probably would have went better about 10 years ago. Because it would be
Maybe.
a lot of starting over from scratch and trying to like better yourself as you go along. Whereas people nowadays in a lot of games want to have their handheld.
Yeah, exactly.
It's-
Yeah,
It's too hard for them.
It
so
would
they-
it would probably the people it would appeal to would probably be like Dark Souls players though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those games are already challenging, but you have to be a fan of those games. So yeah,
yeah. You would basically just try and try and like get better each time because essentially that was how the mobile game was. RRTNZ Wales wins 26
congrats
to 8.
on Wales winning. It's still not a real country, no matter what you tell me. and that language that you guys made up is not real. So it's
yeah, that's funny.
It reminds me of those
Go ahead,
those punishing 2D platformers from like the NES era where
Old
like
school,
it's impossible. Then you get past a point and you can do it automatically almost after that. It's not hard anymore at all. And then
the Metroidvania games where it's like you
right,
need to
exactly
know the patterns.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he basically just bumps into Rita, no problemo. And again, the movie just gives us this scene where it just shows you how many times it probably took him to get to this point.
Just to learn everything. Yeah,
yeah. And she dies. Again.
She's like, "What?"
And they blow up. It's just like, "Come find me when you wake up," and boom, that's it.
Nerdratic would die trying to open the door. He'd be like, and then the next day he still wouldn't know how to open the door.
Right. That's hilarious.
One of these days I'll meet Gary in these whole like ventures. I have not crossed paths with Gary yet.
Listen, we'll have him playing. We'll try and have him game, and we'll see how that goes. Because damn, it was tough. Those streams that he made.
I just want to say this: chat is on fire today. You guys are doing a good job.
You guys are
today.
killing it. Yeah,
I'm actually having trouble keeping up with this, and I'm like especially trying because last week or 2 weeks ago with Drinker, I just never paid attention to the chat the whole time. I was like, nah. So I felt I had to extra pay attention today, and I'm still having trouble keeping up.
We love you, chat, man. Thank you to everyone for being here, and let's break down. So this is the after he meets Vertasky and she blows up in his face, literally, and he takes the more cordial route. So he's just like hiding the card, shaking the general's hand. Basically, just the general's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah,
and everyone is confused, and we finally get the PT set up because every time we hear him, he's like, "PT, 10 minutes." Finally, we see the PT. And it also gives us some time to flesh out the side characters, just little moments like this. And as Dark Hour said, it's just like the little moments like this that show us how many times he's done this. Yeah, because he knows that he knows that the cars are coming. He knows that he knows where it is. So he basically just leaves the audience to basically just think about it in their mind. Just like, okay, he's probably done this maybe 5-10 times, no problem. Yeah, Dark Hour was like that.
That's my guy. I mean, Plus, we had a very, very tight schedule for that. Like, if we go like 3 hours, stay, not a problem. That one we had to be 2 hours, and we nailed it. An hour, 59 minutes, 47 seconds.
Yep. So one thing that I wrote down is that at this point in the movie, we have the goal. So the goal is to meet Rita Vertasky and see what she has. We have the stakes. We know that. Essentially at this point it's Major Cage's life and the rest of the world at stake, but we don't have any urgency, and even then you're still invested in what's going on into the story because it's just so interesting, and it's also fresh in terms of time travel and the way that it's done. And there she is, the babe.
There she is.
I need to get some cold drink real quick.
There she is.
I'm gonna go take a shower. Hold on.
I love how they show his frustration with having to go through this so many times, and because of that, you can imagine so many more times he must have gone through it to be that frustrated at that point.
Oh yeah,
and then be surprised he made it. Like with the truck.
It is funny though, because if you think about it, like on that level, eventually it would become so second nature that it would just be like, okay, roll. Be like, he even does it later when he fights the guys. He's just like, I'm just gonna close my eyes, just watch. I know exactly
exactly. And essentially at this part of the story, you have Rita Vertasky bringing him up to speed with the audience. You also have the fact that she could end up in a psych ward, which in my head canon, when watching this movie, I don't understand how she could get out of the psych ward if
that was one of the plot holes that I noticed. That if she was put into the psych ward, how'd she kill herself? You're put into a situation where you can't possibly kill yourself.
Yeah, and so like
how
in
could
my
you have
head,
restarted
it
the
was
situation?
you see the scar on her forehead. I think that maybe that's like from the psych ward, and she never reset after that. So that's just me speculating because I just
Well,
think
yeah,
it
because
sounds
she
cool.
mentions like something happened where she had somebody else's blood put into her because of an incident.
Well, it was the Battle of Verdun.
The battle, okay, yeah. So maybe, but
yeah. Basically, she got to the end of the battle, which there's a heavy implication that they allowed her to win. To give this false. And she basically got to the end and couldn't kill herself in time to reset the day.
Right.
Yep. And so we finally meet Mr. Bucket, from 2005 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, for those who don't know.
Oh,
that's where I knew that guy
good
from.
Call on Inspired.
I watched that movie when I was a kid so many times, man.
You're still a kid. What do you mean when you were a kid?
Yeah, and this is the only place where I recognize him from. So it's Mr. Bucket. Yeah, so he's essentially a mimic biologist, and they fill Tom Cruise's character in about the hive mind, the alpha, the omega, and the visions that you're essentially supposed to have. So for the audience that is watching that is not maybe familiar with Edge of Tomorrow, the alpha is what Tom Cruise killed at the beginning of the movie, and it's that gave him the time. The blood of the alpha is what gave him the time traveling powers, but it's all coming from the omega, which you can see on screen. That looks like the weird square thingy.
It reminds me of the Overmind from StarCraft. If anybody played StarCraft,
nope.
It has a very similar look to the Overmind from that.
And so yeah, then they also fill him in about the visions and saying that you will essentially get visions about where the Omega is, and if you destroy the Omega, that's how we destroy the mimics. So that's what they fill in the audience with. And I just love Tom Cruise's response in this. And he's just like, you know what? Terrific presentation.
Yeah, this is great.
All good. Yeah.
So
I like that too. In character, for sure, for him.
So for what Princess Fiona just said, that this guy acts like he remembers everything Rita does. In this instance, I think it's not a big deal because they weren't resetting anymore, so she could have started to inform him of all of this, and he clearly believes her. So he has no reason to not accept her information as fact.
Yeah. Right. And so she starts training him. But before the training montages, we also get a little glimpse at the side characters and what happens to them when Tom Cruise just fucks off. Because, these are real people that will have to suffer the consequences of having someone that was put in their care just to leave.
I didn't mind the extra push-ups. Great line later on.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, it serves in the plot, but it's just the way that they're used. I think adds the feeling of having them to be actual people in this movie instead of just.
It's just enough.
Plot thing. Yeah,
it's just enough to serve the plot, because this movie could have been 3 hours, and then you could have had like backstories for all these people, and they're like, nah, here's these little tiny little nuggets we'll give you, but it's just enough to make you to move the story along.
For sure.
I want to insert this too, that Nance, the female soldier, she's actually hot in real life.
Yeah, I saw that on Wikipedia.
She is.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, I got to do some research.
Charlotte Riley, I think
it's just for the show. Dark Hour. It's for the show. Yeah.
I'm going to look it up. Hold on. I'm on it.
Do
You guys keep
Do it.
Yeah. I looked up the cast and I was like, wow. That was a shock.
Yeah, like Nance was like the number one thing that came up when I was like, whoa. Well, not the number one thing, maybe number two.
Jesus.
Oh. Okay, so I mean, here let's I'll screen share it instead of trying
to
pull it up.
This was a shock. Oh, good call.
Listen, so this has gone from Edge of Tomorrow to looking at a
fairly,
beautiful woman.
They definitely uglied her. They definitely uglied her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
but she looks good. And so we basically get the montage. So let me play it for you guys.
Again.
Wait.
I think I'm okay. No, I can still feel my toes. Oh, come on.
I like. He's like, I think I'm okay. He's crawling. I think I'm okay. I'm gonna say though, if I'm gonna get
Layla
shot,
Josephus,
it'll be
don't
by
give
her.
me any ideas. Don't give me any ideas.
If I'm gonna get shot, getting shot by her is not a bad thing. I'm sorry.
I mean,
not at all.
I guess if you're gonna if you know you're gonna wake up from it,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure the thing is, he actually has a unique instance where he feels the pain because of that.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
like normally, if you're shot and die, you don't feel the pain. You die.
Yeah, he
But
knows
like,
he's gonna. Yeah, he's got to go through it over and over and over again. Yeah,
Man.
Again.
And so killing him so many times basically gives him the visions, and we see where the location of the Omega is. Well, supposedly where the location of the Omega is. And so we essentially get him and Rita planning first and foremost to get off the beach, because the beach is essentially hell and they have to crawl their way out of that motherfucker. And as you can see on the screen, there's the map with the diagrams of how to plan. And man, I can't even imagine how many times they probably died doing this.
Well, yeah, and it's even implied that because he's going over like where she has to step and move, and they're getting it wrong, and even she's repeating it incorrectly to him a couple of times. But like, just imagine having to memorize that over and over and over again. It's like you feel the frustration, but the anxiety during that part.
It becomes too much for him. Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
I was gonna say that, and that's when he switches characters almost. Now he's more of the Maverick Tom Cruise, where he's like, Step Right is very specific. Like, that was very specific. He's kind of had enough of it, and he's more of her equal at this point now.
At this point, and he's starting to actually get an attachment to her as well, because
True,
they're just repeating it so often. Yeah, you could say he's like, I'm starting to kind of like her now.
He's actually catching up to her in time.
Right.
They never, like I said, they never specifically state how many times he's gone through this.
Right.
Yeah.
But she said that she went through her loop 300 times.
Yep.
So we can infer that he's getting close to that number because he's closer to her. So we can infer that he's somewhere between 200 and 300 times he's lived this day.
As of now, and he still has a lot of the movie left. So he's better than her in the end, because hey, it's Tom Cruise, number one.
That's right.
It's the man's out. No, I'm just kidding.
He specifically he specifically states that that the farmhouse section has happened that many times, but he's had more than that because they didn't get up to that. Like they didn't get up to that until way later. So
yeah,
I love back to the map real quick though. That whole no, you don't have to go back like physically. Sure. I just want to talk about it. The way that they have it all planned out. I just love that scene because it's like you can see that they've crossed out ideas and stuff. And he's like, no, we tried that. So it's like they just scrap that idea, and it's a really cool scene that doesn't really have any category to put it in. It's not world building. It's not like it's tactical, but only one of the people actually knows what the tactics are.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
Yeah, I mean, it's good too because it just shows you how complex it is of a task and how insurmountable of a task it is just to get off the beach. It's not even to go anywhere near. It's just to get off that one beach. And it's like, man.
Yeah, you have to be so strategic on every little detail. And so it's frustrating me. I was like, God, I forgot what happened. I was like, come on, get off the goddamn beach already.
and this is where you start to see that she's not quite as great of a soldier as they've made her out to be. She's still great. Don't get me wrong. She's still like really, really good. But because she no longer has the benefit of remembering the things, and she's relying on somebody else's tactics.
Right.
Yeah.
She even screws up multiple times, even when he gives her the right command.
Yeah.
Right.
He tells her to do this and she doesn't, or tells her to go to this direction and she does it too slowly or too quickly. And so you start to there is definitely a balancing act going on where he's being brought up and she's being brought down, but not in the traditional way where they're tearing her down. You're slowly being revealed. It's slowly being revealed that she isn't as good as everyone thought she was.
Good way to put it. That's perfect. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah, writers in 2023, come on the two hosts. Yeah, take note, man.
Take note.
Take note from Dark Hour.
Yeah. I mean, that's me analyzing a movie I watched approximately 13 hours ago.
13 hours ago.
Was that your first watch ever?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Right?
Oh.
What a lucky bastard, you know.
I know. I wish I could watch this for the first time again. God,
She's
it's
no
so-
Sabine, that's for sure. I mean, who is though?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if Sabine is even a Sabine at this point.
Yeah. And so yeah, he gets assaulted by Skinner and Kimmel. So Kimmel is the fat guy. Sorry, the plus size man.
Excuse me.
Yeah, of course. It's
That's discriminating
2023.
against plus
Finale.
5 people. Come on.
And
Yeah, they don't even husky isn't allowed to be said anymore.
No.
Like husky
Large.
is that-
and so yeah, so he this is what we were talking about before, that he's done this so many times. He even tells them, I don't want to do it tonight.
Right.
So he's been doing it so many times, and he's just fed up with it, and he goes to the pub. It's like, fuck it.
I like this.
This was good.
It was almost a palate cleanser scene.
Just to slow
Right.
things down a little bit.
Yeah, because we've had the same thing over and over again. So this kind of like, it was a reset that he just decided to do something else because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
Good
reminiscent.
Good placement.
It's very reminiscent of some of the scenes in Groundhog Day towards
Yeah,
the middle
it
where
is.
he
Yes.
tries weird shit just for the sake of seeing
100%.
if it'll work.
Yeah.
And that helps you connect to the character though, because you would do that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just do something different.
For sure. I try and break out. I'd say, like, if I know that I'm gonna die at the end of the day, why not just take a break, take a breather, and then bullet to the head at the end of the day so I can reset it? You know, at least I need to relax. I don't need to be training every single fucking day at this point. But
No.
Yeah.
this is where we learned that London is like, it gets attacked anyways. So
Yep.
people in London just die. So sorry to the Brits in the chat.
No beans and toast for you anymore.
I feel the thing is, the first thing I think of is Little Platoon. I'm just like, oh, Little
Yeah,
Platoon's
exactly.
probably
Every
in there.
time. Every time.
Platoon. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He must
I
be
mean,
in there somewhere.
I died before the movie even started, man. I was in the fucking intro. That was it.
Yeah. Platoon's making a 5-hour documentary video about some movie.
Well, at
and all
this
of a
point,
sudden-
well, here's the thing. At this
Alien.
point in his life, he was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not 100% certain because I don't know his exact age, but I think he was gearing up to be a journalist. At,
Oh,
like,
okay.
2014.
He
So this
wasn't-
would have actually
yeah,
been a really interesting thing.
really early on Platoon. I
Yeah.
gotcha.
Listen,
I gotcha.
Platoon, we need to write you into the script of Edge of Tomorrow. We need to know your story. That's it. I'll greenlight a 6-episode Netflix limited series.
Let's
That's
do it.
It'll be
Yeah.
good.
Unlimited
And,
beans and toast for you, buddy.
Oh yeah.
That's what he loves to eat.
And so they just learned that London gets decimated, and this is how it just motivates Cage even to train harder. And this is what I call, he just becomes a hardened veteran. And I think that it's good because he talks to veterans in the pub, and it's just like, at this point in the story, it's just like, yeah, you know what, I'm ready, you've trained me enough, we need to fucking fight. And you know what, let me just play the clip.
What the?
I like
That
how they're
scene-
like, what?
Great scene.
That scene is so cool. Like, that's
So
the
badass.
most video game scene I've ever seen in a movie.
And it looks amazing again. Like, I mean, you could maybe see slight CGI when he's circling around the
Yeah, I
sandship.
mean,
it's like,
obviously, you know,
but it
Tom Cruise
still
tries
looks
to do
good.
his best to not use
Yeah.
CGI, but some things
Right.
just require
you
it.
need it, especially
you
for
know.
this kind of thing. But it still looks
mean,
better than some of the stuff today.
Yeah, plus it helps the fact that they actually built, you know, the sand,
Right.
all of that is real. So it's just the background that's a green screen, like a big green screen wall that they put in the back. But essentially, they're interacting with actual sand and stuff. So if they blow up stuff, it's
I can only imagine the
it's
amount
actual
of
there.
times people had to flush out their eyes on set because all the explosions in the sand. Like,
Ooh,
there must have been a bunch of times where that happened.
dude.
But that was the
if I
thing. That was
like-
one of the things that made it so hard to maintain that set was they had explosions going off on a man-made beach. Man-made
Right.
beaches don't replenish by themselves. You have to go and buy sand and replenish it.
I mean, I think it does help that there's not really much need for continuity in terms of how the beach looks, because
Right.
in the next scene you can just say, "Oh, a bomb went off, but we didn't see it." You know, you can just
this is all
it's
the
acceptable.
fighting and chaos. Yeah,
Jay Goodwin, main screen turn on.
yeah.
If you know, you know.
Really, and that sand and the physical set makes all the difference, I think, for films like this.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just makes it makes such a big difference. It's Tom Cruise, man. So you know
Mhm.
he won a
I
lot.
actually- I
Yeah.
haven't seen the movie enough times to like. Obviously, I've only seen it the one time, so I haven't determined my favorite scene yet.
Mhm.
But this is definitely one of them. The like slower when they start to slow it down. away from the actual battle, and we get to see more of the world and what's
I
happening.
think all four of us can agree on one scene. We all really
Yeah. You mean this scene?
Just a little bit. Just saying,
it's perfection right there.
It is.
So here's the thing: is I like that they now pull it away from that battle. It's like I've seen it so many times at this point. To see the rest of what's happening to, in this case, France, right? Because this was or has happened already. Is an awesome sequence, and the fact that the cars are like they're still workable cars. Like this happened so quickly that they couldn't do certain things.
Yep, I agree. And I mean the fact that he just says, "Okay, go there, go do this," because so I was rewatching the movie, so I watched it twice in preparation for the stream, and I still don't understand what he does when he goes to his car. Because he goes to his car, he opens a bag, things drop on the floor. But it's never. I don't think it's ever brought up again.
Right.
I have a feeling that was just a scene that had something to do, because I know that there's like a lot of stuff got cut, so I'm guessing that had something to do with that. There's like literally there was a whole scene filmed with Jeremy Piven that just got removed from the movie. So
really,
yeah. So it's they like brought him in. They did like reshoots and stuff, and they put a character in, and he was a colonel or something, and they he never made the final cut. So
I took that scene to be telling us that he's looking for keys in that car.
That's what I would thought, because he's got the green car or something, and she's got the other one.
Low key, I think he's looking for condoms, probably.
Oh, I think so. Yeah,
we're going to the farmhouse, baby.
That's a great line. Have you like tried every method to get the?
Every. She goes, sex? Yeah.
Yeah,
I've tried it.
The way he moves his hands with the robotic noises, it's just like. It's so good. And you get they get attacked by the mimic that's in the caravan that was supposed to be detached, but Rataski fucked up, as we said before, and she gets hurt in the ambush too, and she gets hurt, but not hurt to the point where she can't go on without it, because she doesn't bring it up until a while, I'd say even hours, in terms of Edge of Tomorrow in real time in the movie. But I
like his face here. He's like, I'm gonna bang her in the farmhouse.
Yep.
Here we go.
I know exactly where they keep everything.
I know I've been here 100 times. I'm a happy man.
It's like that. It's like the scene in Groundhog Day where he like goes and finds out the woman's like entire background. Like, where'd you go to high school?
Yep.
We get to know a bit about Rita Rataski here, and so this is where she says that she died 300 times and was in a similar situation as Tom Cruise, because she had someone who was essentially like a partner with her, and so she saw him die 300 times, and it's pretty poignant. And this is when they reach the farm, and it comes to the battery stuff. So they're out of batteries, and this looks straight out of Oblivion, except that they're all wearing black instead of white. So for those who haven't seen Oblivion with Tom Cruise,
lesser of the sci-fi movies.
Hey, some people in the chat liked it. I saw they were praising Oblivion.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's fine. Nothing
Nobody
too
asked
special
you
about it.
inspired. God.
Hey, Cannoli, I can kick you anytime. Huh?
I know. I'm sorry. I forgot this isn't my show. I'm sorry.
Listen. Cannoli brought cannoli, so he's excused. That's it. We're gonna eat them after the show.
After the show, we're gonna celebrate.
Yeah,
digital cannolis.
Yeah. And so they find the chopper, and Cage is very reticent about using the chopper. And that giveaway is the fact that he says that she uses 3 sugars in her coffee instead of just 1 or 2. And so it's essentially Rita's canon event, so she doesn't make it past this point. And man, Cage just goes like her Nexus ballistic.
Event,
yeah, exactly. And like he goes ballistic after she actually just takes the chopper and dies. He even uses an axe on a mimic, which is pretty cool. It just tells you how ruthless and how essentially tired he is of the entire situation.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she dies, and she tells him her middle name. Yeah, that's what she says. She says her middle name is Rose. So and
not Peyton.
Yep, not paid it. Yep.
Yeah,
And,
I do like that she's been feeding him false information.
Yes,
I
that's
wonder
true.
I wonder if there's like a tactical reason for that that they just don't really explain, because at this point she's aware that he would have lived this multiple times. So maybe it's like a way that like she will know how far she's gotten into this. It's not explained, but it is a possibility that it's like, if he doesn't know my real middle name yet, we haven't gotten far enough. Kind of.
Yeah. And plus, you know that now she wouldn't be lying because she's saying it on her deathbed. So
Right.
that would be fucked up to lie, you know. And after this point, he decides to go solo and just becomes a monster. And yeah, it's just like fuck.
I never wear a helmet. It just gets in the way.
I'm never gonna sleep with you again.
That's why he had blue balls. That's why he was so
That's why
angry.
he was getting angry. He was getting his release every 300 times, and now he's like, "Damn it!"
Yep. So you know what? Let me just play a little clip of showing him changing who he is. Man,
He's just so to it all. Like he's just like, whatever. I'm just gonna
like
walk and go through the motions again, and see how far I can get this time.
Yeah, and something we didn't mention too was the score. What do you guys think about the score? Zax, do you pay attention to the score when you were listening to it? Because I personally like it a lot.
I liked it. I don't remember really paying much attention to it, but it didn't stick out negatively either. So I think it worked well in that way, which is kind of what you often would want from a score anyways. It complements the movie. It doesn't overshadow it.
Yeah. There's no Hans Zimmer. Bah!
Right.
Which I like Zimmer, but some of his movies.
Yeah, you basically get the Inception bois. He started
for
all that
everything
shit.
now. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, that was just literally an Inception. That was literally just they slowed the song down to like, I think it was it was essentially like the reverse of 64 times speed. So it was like, is that like 1/64th its speed or something like that?
Then you get his Dune soundtrack, which is just a lot of yelling and screaming. It's like, oh, Hans, what are you doing, man?
And they avoided the temptation to have like, and I like this band, but like, there's no Linkin Park in this. Like, they could have, at that time, they could have. None of that's been inserted into it, right? When it could have been tempting, but they didn't.
They had,
which is good.
Yeah, they had all the Transformers movies had Linkin Park.
They had Linkin Park songs.
Yeah.
It could
It had nothing to do with the movies at all either. It would just be like, what I've done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I am Optimus Prime, and I hope you all receive this message.
Wait, is Cynic still out there? I have come.
I'm coming.
I am coming.
Still have that clip somewhere.
Listen, Optimus Prime.
He's always coming, apparently.
He's always coming.
Dude's a machine. What can we say?
So is Tom Cruise in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's true. So yeah, at this point, he finally reaches the dam where the Omega is supposedly supposed to be, and it ends up being a trap with the Omega and another mimic. And he has to kill himself by drowning, essentially. Which, for those of you who don't know, if you ever found out that I went out by drowning, just know that I was not happy. It's one of my biggest fears.
Oof, yeah, that's scary.
Yeah,
man.
Pretty much the scariest death, because you see the whole thing happen.
Yeah,
yeah.
You're aware of what's happening. Yeah.
Number one is spiders on the list for me. That's like easy.
Well, what if you get bitten by one and become the French Spider-Man though?
What would I do? Shoot baguettes?
It's Le Spider-Man.
Le Spider-Man.
What is spider in French? Uninspired. What is spider in French?
Araignée.
Yeah, that doesn't have the same ring to it.
No.
Yeah. Spider-Man in French. So spider in French is araignée, and Spider-Man in French, like if you translate it, it's l'homme araignée. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm not.
That doesn't work at all.
I'm not
That's
calling
gay.
you that at all.
I prefer Mexican Spider-Man. You guys have seen Mexican Spider-Man before, right?
El hombre araña. Yeah. Mexican Spider-Man is the
Mexican
best.
Spider-Man's the best.
And
we definitely got off track there. But whatever.
Yeah. Okay, and so you've got
Spider-Man
the,
stream soon enough.
Kind of
Mexican-
guest do you bring on the show?
Followed immediately by it's not even the guest. I'm the host. I'm the problem.
Oh God.
And so at this point, after finding out that it's a trap, Cage goes back to Mr. Bucket, and he essentially tells him about the transponder that's in Whitehall that he has to inject in his leg to find the real location of the Omega. And it brings up something for me, and it's like, why would the government think that this guy is crazy? Wouldn't the government like put proper resources into studying what the mimics are?
No.
At least a small section.
Not even close. The
What?
government would not.
You're giving the government too much credit there, buddy.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's definitely the government would be like, hey, how can we siphon money off the top of this?
I was
first?
just gonna
Yes.
say, yeah.
Like,
How can
Oh,
we
yeah,
use
it's true.
them?
There would be a lot of
Well,
no
here's
bid
the bill.
contracts for this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
here's
was
the
gonna
bill.
say.
We're gonna allocate like $10 billion. $400 is gonna go toward the research, and then
Yeah.
everything else goes to everybody else involved with signing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so true. And they'd be like, someone would say, okay, this time, guys, you really have to do this for real. Like, this is important. We probably
Yeah,
should
gotta
really
get
put
this
the money
in.
where we're supposed to go, but they still didn't do it.
Okay. We actually just got a super chat, and it's very
Oh,
relevant to what we were
nice.
just talking about. So I think we're just gonna throw it out right now.
Throw it in, man.
At the end of that.
White Bear 2 for $3.50. Hey, White Bear. French Spider-Man sounds like a baguette. Yes.
No, that's not what he
Yeah.
meant to say.
I know what he meant to say.
I know what he meant to say too.
Look,
He's
We
being
are-
PG.
Listen, I
still
know what
love
she
John.
said.
I-
Listen,
all right.
we love you, White Bear, coming from the Frenchman himself. So
Yeah.
you get my approval. And so they finally make it to Whitehall, and even then, we see how many times it took for Cage to go, because he's essentially just guiding her through everything, like 2 steps back, and you can hear him mumbling, like he's pacing under his breath. And I just think it's a good touch. And they finally meet Mad Eye Moody again, who is still here. And, so they explain everything to the general. They have the overwhelming proof of knowing what phone calls are arriving, knowing what the secretary is going to say, knowing about the secretary too. And one thing that I do want to bring up is, if the general and so essentially, as we were saying before, the government doesn't really believe in this transponder stuff, why the fuck does the general just keep it in a safe in his place? Like, what's the point of it?
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm starting to think, based on how he reacts to certain things, that this is actually Bartley Crouch Jr. Just saying.
That's
my
pretty good.
God. That's good.
That was good. I was waiting for like an actual comment.
No, I had no real point. You're 100% right. If they think that it's a waste of time, why the hell do they keep it in a safe? And not only just keep it in a safe, keep it in a safe that's within like walking, like it's in his office.
Yeah,
it does seem a little weird.
I just find it so weird. And as expected,
I never thought of that, actually. You're right, though.
That's good, yeah.
And as expected, well, what he did when Tom Cruise left the first time, and they said, yeah, we'll arrest him. So here he is again, just arresting them. So she shoots Tom Cruise.
He is the best at getting people arrested. He'll just be like, yeah, you're fine, leave. Arrest them.
Just like, yeah. And so they try again through the underground, and this is where he gets the visions after sticking it in it.
Right.
I guess. Well, yeah.
And once he sticks it in himself, he gets
Sticks it in. Yeah, he sticks it in, all right.
We're in Paris in the Louvre, and that's where the Omega is. But they crash. So I will show the clip of the crash because I just think this is fucking incredible. I wonder how they achieved this practically too.
So
that's a cool scene.
If it's anything like the way that they did the bus flip in The Dark Knight, there's like a piston that's in the back of the car that you can't see, and then they like pushes it up, and then it like slides.
Yeah, but you still have the guy in front of it. You think that they added this dude in CGI? He doesn't really look like a CG ad.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, that part I can't explain, but at least the flipping, the way that they flip up a car practically is with pistons.
Yeah, true. And he wakes up and he's lost the power, and they've given him his brother. I don't know. The way she just arrives, like, Cage, I was out of these in 3 minutes flat. What the fuck are you doing?
So that is actually one of the plot holes I wanted to mention. So
Yeah.
and they sort of account for it here. But she mentions earlier, like, oh, I lost the power and I couldn't reset the day anymore.
Mhm.
How do you know that? Like, he is aware that she already said the whole thing about, like, I had a blood transfusion, I lost the power.
Right.
How does she know that the first time? Because
Didn't he say something about he feels it, like he felt?
Yeah,
that it was
I think
gone?
that line was put in specifically to try and cover for this.
Right,
Because if they didn't do that, because if you just go based on surface level, she would have tried to reset the day. It wouldn't have succeeded, and she'd just be dead.
Listen, maybe she's just like Jesus Christ, man. She came back 3 days later. That was it.
That's why it's a minor plot.
She
hole
resurrected.
It's a minor plot hole that they at least tried to. They definitely tried to cover in the script.
It's a quick explanation, but
like the only reason why he even knew like that happened is because she told him the story about the blood transfusion.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that it is a. Yeah, I mean, I could accept the fact that she says that like she maybe feels it leaving or something like that, but it is a stretch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is where I have a problem with the movie too, because
possibility she stopped having the visions too. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, but I mean, the visions, they said that they only brought them at like at a specific time. You weren't always getting the visions when you died. So that could also be like debunked, I guess.
Debunked, yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah, true.
And so essentially the film at this point is in its end game because, you know, we know our goal, we know the stakes, we know the urgency. And so they recruit the J Squad, and to recruit them, he just tells them everything he knows about them and convinces them finally with Rita Vertasky, and they essentially steal the plane. And this is where, for me, the concept becomes, I would say, a narrative, let's say a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, he's now an expert, so of course they can easily do this stuff now. But on the other hand, they show us how much he struggles just to get from a simple point A to point B so many times within the compound itself, without also the added factor of him being a wanted man. So it's like, I can believe it, but man, you're really, really stretching this, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's hence why the movie's only an hour and 45 minutes. You know, I mean, they're pushing everything quickly, and they're trying to. It's like you said. This is kind of the issue I had to, like I said, before the show. I was like, this is one part. I was like, all right, it wouldn't be just so seamless for him to do this.
Yeah,
but fine. Like, I see why they're trying to push this through. Otherwise, this would have been a freaking, like I said, 2.5 hour movie, and then
it would have been less fun. Yeah,
yeah.
We can
like I said,
accept it.
everything just moves quickly, and you just, it's like you said, you just gotta kind of let it go. But I get it, because I thought the same thing you did. Yeah.
Yep.
One thing that I thought about too with this is that it felt as though
there's no way that Lizzo would zero way that Lizzo would be in anything called live, diet, and repeat.
No,
diet
donut
isn't in her
repeat.
vocabulary.
Really,
Yeah.
live donut,
repeat.
I think they could have added to the film by having there be more cages like throughout time that has approached her also, and then who then lost the power and couldn't make it, so that she's still around there, but she's experienced a Bill Cage before, or maybe she wasn't the first either, because they talk about her, trying to have sex to get the power back, but like with who? I'm not like, you'd think it'd be someone who has the power would be who you would try to have sex with me to get the power. Like, but why would you think that like just bang an entire crew of guys and like why would would that give you your power back?
Right.
Yeah, man.
No, I think she was trying to. I think what it was implying with that is that she was trying to give it to like her partner that she mentioned.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That way he can also be part of the whole thing. It's a weird. I think it was just said specifically for the joke, so he could do the arm motion and the.
I know it was. Yeah. I think they could have added to the world a little bit by having there be, maybe this is the third guy since her who's had this power and then lost it. So when he comes to her, like she knows right away and how to tell him what to do. And no, you have to die. Like she's seen those rules not work before.
You know what?
Yeah.
Zach said it. Release the extended cut, man. Let's go.
Do it.
Do it. Yep.
I mean, there
Sorry,
probably
cut
is.
this shit.
There probably is an extended cut, and I can only
Yeah,
hope
oh,
that
yeah.
there's more of this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll take it.
I mean,
Oh,
granted,
yeah.
they go back to that scene probably about as many times as I have. So
There's nothing wrong with that.
Listen, John Krasinski, if you're in the chat, we're just admiring her. You know,
That's right.
they
Yeah,
don't
that's all.
attack us.
It's
That's it.
respect, man.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
respect.
Nice
Props.
pull, dude. You did it.
props.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we also have the fact that they steal a fucking plane.
That is a little weird because how did no one notice that was happening?
Yeah,
Like-
they also just took pilots to their death. Basically, they're just like, "Fuck, it,
Yeah.
you're coming with us."
And they're okay, they're mostly okay with it. They're like, yeah, okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure she's a nice lady, but I just want to see her do yoga all day. It's fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
all.
wouldn't mind.
She's got to exercise, you know.
And but yeah, they get lit up, like they get absolutely massacred. And let me just play the clip because fuck it, it's bad.
I purposely timed it to say that Lizzo eats extended cuts of cake as you did that, by the way. And then
Extended cuts of cake, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they basically get assaulted, and this is where, man, the movie is too fucking dark to see whatever the fuck is going on.
Definitely the cinematography at this point of the movie probably could have been better.
Mhm.
There was, especially if you're watching it, I can only imagine what it was like in a theater. But if you're watching it in a dark room, it's pretty bad. You're like,
Dude, I was
Okay.
watching this in the afternoon with like the sunlight shining on my TV, so
Yeah.
this was absolutely fucking horrible. I
Yeah,
couldn't
that's pretty
see
bad,
jack
too.
shit. Yeah, but what I do like about it is that at this point in the story, you know, as we were talking about it being an essentially Edge of Tomorrow being a video game, it's as if now it becomes like a sort of survival horror type, and I just like it because everyone is down by everything. They're out of ammo. They're out of they're out of their exosuits almost basically, and what they have to
Right.
do is just rely on scraps. And I just think that it's really, really good to shift the dynamic of the movie into this.
I
Mhm.
do like how it comes full circle. And they've used it a couple of times as the claymore that I forget the character's name, but he straps it to his chest
Mhm.
as like
Yeah,
his
the,
like as his like
Skinner.
as his like last fail safe if he's about to die.
Mhm.
It
Yep.
came into play during one of the battles. It comes into play here. It's a pretty cool little thing that most people would have just did it as a one-off gag and it wouldn't have come back to play. But 2 or 3 times it comes back full circle.
It
Yeah,
was
well,
super
his-
important. It's how he got the power,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It's his death and his body lying next to Tom Cruise. It's the reason why he was able to use the
Yeah.
Claymore mine. It's like, man, it's good to have stuff like this. And so they essentially regroup and they find the old helicopter essentially that they want to try and use to get to the Louvre because they landed so far away. But mimics are everywhere and they essentially they're trying to get swarmed. So you have a Skinner and Griff that decide to sacrifice themselves. And it's weird because I feel like they took the entire J Squad on this trip, but they never mentioned, you know, the silent guy and the girl too. Like,
Yeah, they just died and like no one really mentioned it.
yeah, no,
Right.
like they just disappeared from the movie completely, and so that was a bit weird. But
Possibly that they had more and it got cut to get because
yeah. Well, maybe there was just a scene like them with Tom Cruise, where they were walking. You know, the way that Tom Cruise walks to try and see where they are. Maybe they just got picked off one by mimics, so they just cut that out of the movie. Maybe, but yeah. So they essentially just give up their lives because not Skinner, Griff, the Australian guy, he's the one that's completely, you know, fucked. He can barely do shit, and
Mhm.
Skinner gets caught because he can't make it back to the plane on time, so he just decides to sacrifice his life with his army bro.
Mhm.
And yeah, they get attacked by the mimics, and again, it's savage. So let me just play
Yeah.
the clip.
Cool.
and
That's a good point, though.
Apparently, this is why he couldn't see them. He's only 5 feet tall.
You mentioning how they kind of just disappeared and died off screen or whatever that happened, but that's a really good point because like in Aliens, all those spacemen kind of got their moment to go out, or most of them did anyways. And in this case, they took the time to establish who these people are. We meet all of them, we know their names, and then to just die off screen, yeah, they could have done more with that. So I wonder if there was scenes that were cut. I could see that.
Yeah,
Probably.
There has to be. I mean, I when I was doing my research, there was a whole that they cut a lot of. I mean, like I said, they completely removed Jeremy Piven. So it was like,
Yeah.
You know, and he was a pretty big named actor at the time. To just flat out remove him, imagine what they were removing for smaller parts. You know,
I mean, seeing from the trailers and the way that they were executed, because the trailers really sold this as a incredibly like sappy romance movie with the time loops and stuff like that. It barely sold any of the action. The only trailer that I found that sold any of the action was the IMAX trailer, and even then, it was only like 30 seconds out of 3 minutes. So it's like, what the fuck were they doing with the original cuts? Did they try and make it more romantic? Maybe it was the case.
Yeah, just adding that. Yeah, that's a good point. But I'd be very interested to see an extended cut of this, like what they took out and how much longer the movie was supposed to be.
Oh, I'd for sure watch an extended cut of this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's entertaining. Maybe they cut it out for a fucking reason.
Yeah. The only way I can see getting an extended cut is if they finally do greenlight the sequel that's been teased for like almost a decade now. So,
man, Tom Cruise is too old.
For last I heard, it wasn't. I mean, I could double check that, but
yeah, Tom Cruise is like stuck on Mission Impossible now. He'll probably do that till he dies. He's not going on Edge of Tomorrow anytime soon.
He might die making Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, jumping off cliffs.
I think everyone thinks that actually. They basically just show him using the. I don't even know how to say this, but it's the machine gun turret that takes you out of the machine and on the wing. And I'm gonna play a clip because, well, I'll play the clip
because you're uninspired and you love to play clip. That's just the way it is. It's fine. You don't need to have a reason.
Listen, everyone. Dark Hour is my Joe Rogan. All he tells me is like, play the clip. That's it.
Play the clip.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. Yes. All right. No way he's surviving that shit, man.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
No, yeah, there definitely was like absolutely no fucking way that he would he would survive that. There's a couple of instances that like later when they like go we'll probably see it, but like when they go down to see the Omega, there's no way in hell he like hits like he falls like 100 feet and hits like a metal like balcony and then falls another 100 feet and hits concrete. It's like,
I mean, both of them too at this point, because and this is where I like the fact of it comes back to survival horror, because what do they have? They essentially have grenades and a shotgun. That's it.
It's very Resident Evil right now.
Man, look at Tom Cruise racking up the shotgun. Boom. So yeah, this is where they get the kiss, which I think it's well deserved.
Yeah.
Still a bit weird on Vertaski's part, because she just met him.
It's a bit out of character too, because she had this whole big speech about like not getting attached because of people dying over and over again in these loops. And when we get to the end, I'll explain what I think should have possibly had, because they changed the ending around for this movie anyway. But what I think they should have done versus this specific version of it,
I don't know. I think that it was because the way that the scene was going, she just gives him the kiss and fucks off, because I really wasn't expecting her to kiss him. I was expecting her to be like, I don't know, a mutual handshake or some shit like that, but yeah,
just keep teasing the guy while you're at it, like you
maybe a quick hand job or something like that.
It's like she kisses him, and then just before she leaves, he grabs her hand. He's like, "Come on, just a quickie.
Come on, it won't take long, I promise."
No.
Like, look, I've been waiting for approximately 300 days. So
yeah, come on.
It's the same day for you, but for me, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
and so yeah, so like the mimic kills her. Not the mimic, the alpha mimic kills her, and man, she dies horribly because what's
Yeah.
essentially shown is that she gets pounded to death. No pun intended over there.
Whoa.
And then Tom Cruise was like, "What the fuck? I could."
Well, why does he get that?
Because he was pounded to death.
And yeah, so we're approaching the end of the movie. You've got Tom Cruise that sees the Omega that's down there, so he jumps into the pool while he's being chased by the Alpha and drops the grenades exactly like fucking Pacific Rim, as we said before.
I was just gonna say.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, just for reference for people in the chat, Pacific Rim 2013, Edge of Tomorrow 2014. Who copied who? I'll leave that up to you.
Well, I mean, this was also based on a book, so like they already
was it like this in the book?
I've never read. I mean, you think I read the book? I just saw the movie for the first time yesterday.
How much work do you want the man to do?
I mean,
listen, you never know.
Let's go read a whole book. I mean, I think it's only like 120 or 150.
It's a short
pages,
one,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, it's a light novel.
Yeah, it's a light novel.
Like that thick. So.
Gord King in the comments, edging of tomorrow. That's brilliant.
That's Cruise in this whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah, just to touch on the name of the movie real quick, since we've mentioned it several times. The name. So obviously, originally the book is called "All You Need Is Kill."
Oh yeah, All You Need Is Kill.
And then they originally were going with "Live, Die, Repeat," and then they went with "Edge of Tomorrow." Edge of Tomorrow to me just sounds like a soap opera or something.
Yeah,
I can't think that gave it any edge at all in the.
That's weird.
in the market.
Like I've always liked the title Edge of Tomorrow, and I always thought about Live, Die, Repeat as a tagline because I thought it would seem a bit too, I don't know how to say this, but maybe a bit too campy for a title like a Live, Die, Repeat. It would remind me of like an 80s movie, an 80s action movie, like
I just wish honestly, I wish they would have just went with All You Need Is Kill and just stuck with that name, and it's like. Yeah. It couldn't have hurt any more than changing it 3 times.
Well, people didn't even know it was Edge of Tomorrow because everything was Live, Die, Repeat, Live, Die, Repeat, and in the trailers and the posters.
Yeah, there's even versions of the DVD I remember seeing years ago where it's like Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, little tiny, little writing. You're like, what?
Yeah, I like the Edge of Tomorrow title, but I will admit, as you guys said, it does sound like a soap opera. But the trailers didn't fucking help either. Selling it,
they did a terrible job selling this movie. Awful.
Yeah, honestly, the trailers looked as if they were done by one of those people who used to you don't see them that often anymore, but used to do like trailer recuts to make like a romantic comedy.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
For those of you in the chat who haven't seen the trailers of Edge of Tomorrow but are familiar with the movie, like me, because the first time I watched the trailers for this movie was when I was cutting the trailer for the intro, you will genuinely be surprised by how awfully marketed this movie was, which is probably one of the reasons why it failed.
I really hope that at some point some like network or something like approaches you and is like, hey, can you cut up trailers for us? They just happen to see it.
Seriously.
And you just like transition into this like lucrative career of just cutting up clips and stuff. It's like
I'll edit every single David Ayer movie and then he'll request an Ayer cut now. That's how it'll be. That'll be my career, destroying David Ayer.
Just don't do Snyder movies. It'll be all.
That would be one of those really weird careers to explain to somebody though. Could be like, hey, what do you do? I make trailers, like for trucks. Like, no,
no, like movie trailers.
Like I make movie trailers. Like, oh, really? It's like, boom. Yeah, it works at the bars every time, man. They'll be like, oh, what do you do? I make the trailers for two.
I make trailers.
Like,
and then somebody's like, well, what about those trailers for the trailers? You're like, no, fuck those. I don't do those.
The teaser to the.
I hate.
Nobody respects the teasers, man.
I would say I'm in casting. I'm a casting agent. That's what I would say.
Come to my couch over here.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, you can say I'm a casting agent, but I'm also a couch executive. There we go.
Couch executive.
I'm an expert.
So like back to the movie. He drops the grenades into the hole, and so we get the shockwave, and that's what kills every single mimic essentially.
Yeah.
And man,
I agree. Backface.
Yeah, true. Backface. Yeah, what's good, man?
What's your job? Internet.
Yeah.
I talk to people on the internet.
Yeah, I make content with Dark Hour, Cannoli, and Zax. We just talk about Edge of Tomorrow. We thirst on Emily
That's even
Blunt
worse.
and-
Explaining the names to people. What the hell is a dark? What is a cannoli Sasco?
What
What
Yeah,
does all this
true.
mean?
It is funny because there is like levels of naming in YouTube where it's
Yeah.
like some people will just take two random words and throw them together like me.
Yeah.
They think it sounds cool. Uninspired reviewer goes for more of like the explaining what he does.
Yeah.
Cannoli Sasquatch is like, well, I'm Italian and I'm a little on the hairy side, so let's go with
And he's
that.
huge too, man.
I'm a giant.
Cannoli's a giant. Dark Hour. Do you know how tall Cannoli actually is?
I have no idea.
Dude, he's massive.
6'5".
6'5". That's actually that's pretty common. A lot of YouTubers are really tall.
It does seem that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm 6'. I'm not like
6'2".
particularly. I'm 6'1", so it's like, how about you, Zach? Since we're doing this,
6'1".
yeah, we're all. Hey, ladies,
Yeah.
we're all over 6 feet.
Zach's is 6'1",
Yeah.
but his
We'll
shoulders
succeed
make
on.
him 6'4".
If we don't succeed on YouTube, we'll succeed on Tinder.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, ladies, DMs are always open. You know, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So back to the movie. He gets covered in alpha. Well, I don't know
Alpha
if this
juice?
is
No,
alpha
it's the
or
omega
juice.
blood. It's the omega juice.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's reset the time, which I don't even know how to fucking explain this. Would you guys
So
give a go?
I've come up with two possible explanations, and I want to throw them both out to you guys. So number one is the super basic one, is that technically they did all that the day before the original battle. So when he died, he's reset on the day before the battle, which is the day he went to.
He went to go.
Yeah.
The other one is that the Omega has more of an ability to control the points because it's more like a memory card versus like an autosave, which is what the alphas are. The alphas are like, it's just this point, whereas the Omega is kind of like the hub for all of those save points. So now he has access to other save points. Or bad writing works too.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's always a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd have to agree with the first point. Maybe it's because it's the day before that they technically do everything. So, which would explain why he comes to this. He comes to this.
He's coming.
I am coming.
And but yeah, man, I still find it weird. I do think that they should have a proper explanation because I don't think it's one of those ambiguous, leave it up to the people for debate type of situations. No. I think that this actually needs to be explained, or else it is a plot hole. But yeah, so he just gets back, and also additionally, everyone is like all the mimics are dead. So
yeah.
I don't.
Well, they're not all dead. They actually say something that they're essentially on like life support. They're all like still moving, but because they don't have access to the memories, they're just kind of erratic.
Yeah.
Which shows you that the only reason why they were able to even do combat to begin with is because they knew what they were supposed to be doing.
Yep.
Yeah. They were
so like mind. They were hive mind exactly. But yeah, that's where that's pretty much where it ends right there. And then, of course, he goes and sees Emily Blunt doing this,
Yeah, of course, man.
Might as well bring it up one last time.
Oh, man. But you've got the fact, like, I do like the fact that they bring him back to J Squad a bit, just seeing them in passing and how he sees Emily Blunt, since he's, I think he's a major. When he comes by, everyone is just like, So,
yeah, and then she has a completely different reaction to him, and he's in his rank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, yes. What do you want? It's like,
I would have liked to have seen that, like some weird. Now, this may have actually opened up more questions, and possibly why I don't write movies. But I would have liked to have seen her maybe have retained some of the knowledge from this whole ordeal at this point to kind of be like. But I can understand why they went back to like her not knowing who the hell he is completely as well.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah. I don't really know what to say, but Melvin, he has a good point in the chat. It's like the Omega should still be alive technically.
Yes.
So here's something I noticed: the Alpha that he killed in the first scenario never comes back.
Right.
the save point that it's at is where he goes back.
He goes back, yeah.
So he has effectively taken the position of that alpha in this like weird time loop.
Yeah.
I think what it is saying here, and I could be wrong, he is now the Omega. He's now the save, like the server, if you will. Yeah. Now
that raises even more fucking questions.
Yeah.
Now this is all speculation from someone who has never seen it before. So, but
all right,
yeah,
I'm gonna keep reminding people that
it does need explanation, and it really doesn't. Like, we're kind of bending over backwards here, like she is, to explain like what like how this movie ended, how this even works, because they don't at all.
Yeah, well, they have stated that with the sequel, they wanted to solidify some of the ending things as being like first of all, they also said that they want to canonize the fact that the name of the movie isn't Edge of Tomorrow, it's Live Die Repeat, which is like kind of a pipe dream. Like, how do you rename a movie 10 years later or plus? But yeah, so a lot of the things that have been stated is that it would explain these last little bits that nobody understood. Unfortunately, the movie hasn't been made, so we're just kind of left to speculate.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, would you guys actually want a sequel? Because, like, well, I'll let you answer. Would you want a sequel knowing that this can actually be just a one and done storyline?
I didn't think I'd want a Top Gun sequel. I thought it was the stupidest idea. I know it's different, genres and everything, but with Cruise involved, I don't think he doesn't like to make bad movies. So I would be intrigued slightly. I'd have to hear what it's about, see some trailers, see some footage, and then be like, all right, maybe. I think the only thing I would think is that if this movie didn't do well, but like a Dark Hour was saying, it's become a cult classic now. How well would the movie do in theaters? I think because it's Cruise and his success with his last few movies, it would do okay.
Well, the last Mission Impossible didn't do so well.
No, it didn't actually, and I don't blame it.
It was a mediocre movie, man.
It was a very mid movie. It was.
I enjoyed it, and I predicted it would do way better than it did, which
Right.
just goes to show I'm not that good at predicting box offices. So
right.
I'm probably going
I
to
don't
lose
know.
a few bets in the near future.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't necessarily think we need one though. I thought this movie was fine on its own. To be honest, but if a sequel comes out, I'll watch it. But
How about you,
Zach?
Zach?
What about you?
That's a really good question, and I was thinking about this after watching it again last night, because the story is kind of done. They don't really need a sequel to that, so it would really but yet for some reason I still would want to see one because I like this one so much, and it feels like I could get more of this. I would enjoy it. I just don't know how you would explain it without really kind of you'd have to retcon a lot of stuff, I think, to have that work. And so yeah, man, like I would like to see more of this. I don't know how you could actually sell that to be, we need a second movie now, without having to go back again and have kind of them go through this entire process again. Because why would you need to do that? Like, what would be the circumstances? Like, they've won, it's over.
Right.
So is there a second wave coming? Or because then that's kind of lame if they do it again.
Yeah. I can see that.
I 100% agree with that. I don't want to see a sequel. And even if a sequel did come out, I guess I wouldn't see it until like 2038 or something.
Yeah, with you, we'll be doing a stream 20 years from now. Like, yeah, I just saw this last night. And,
But in all honesty, though, I don't think there is, like you just said, there's nothing more to tell in this story.
Yeah.
Except for those little tidbits at the end that I'm okay with not understanding. It's weird pseudo alien science with time travel, time loops. I don't need to understand it fully. It worked for me as it was.
Right.
And that's where I'd rather just leave it. Unless they do a 2-hour feature of just Emily Blunt doing yoga.
They do like a promotional
live, stretch, repeat, a
promotional YouTube video of just Emily Blunt just all sweaty doing yoga for 2 hours. You know what? Fuck it. I'll pay good money. No problem.
Sick, man.
You'd almost have to
love it.
You almost have to have it be a different character or other characters, and you can have these two come back in some form. But yeah, I don't know. You can't
How
just
do you do
rehash
that
this.
though? Like Cruz is the selling point of the whole movie. So I mean,
Yeah.
her. But
They'd
I agree with you. That'd be tough.
Well, like, yeah,
They'd
like
have to
I
be
mean,
in it.
Emily Blunt's a big
Right.
name, but she's still really not a selling point for a movie.
Right.
Like,
Right.
she's
Right.
not
He's
in
the
that
selling
upper
point.
echelon of like you throw her name on and people are like, I
No,
gotta
no.
see that. You know, she's
Tom
like the
Cruise.
tier 2 kind of actress,
Right.
where people go, oh yeah, I like
I
her
know
too.
her.
Like I know her. She was
Yeah.
in this. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
her level,
Mhm.
which is still super respectable. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is a different level.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
so you know, it's you can't have him not be the main character.
I mean,
No,
everybody
exactly.
knows Tom Cruise because, like, I mean, even me, as I always say this, I grew up in Ghana, West Africa, and over there, especially in the early 2000s, where, well, because the first cinema opened in like 2009, and to get all stuff digitally or in DVDs and all of that, the only names that you would really recognize, like, oh, if you say Tom Cruise, everyone knows who the fuck you're talking about. You say Jackie Chan, everybody knows who you're talking about. You say
Yeah.
Bruce Lee, it's the same thing. You
Right.
know, he has that
Mhm.
that like he's known all around the world, which
Yeah.
is something that Emily Blunt isn't. You say Emily Blunt, they'll ask you like, "Oh yeah, you want to smoke, man?" It's like, "Yeah, sure."
Emily
That'll
Blunt,
be
it's like
it.
you have to the tier 2s are always you need to say the movie or something or explain them physically.
Yeah.
So like Emily Blunt is kind of like that, where somebody be like, oh, you know, the blonde British chick, she was in this, and this, and
Yeah.
and that's, if you have to do that, that's the tier 2 star.
Mhm.
It's still
Yep.
like I said, it's still super respectable, but it's not. There's certain people you don't need to do that for.
Yep.
And
I agree.
and then Tom Cruise is up there, but
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to see another sequel. I wouldn't want to see another. I just don't. I can't foresee
Yeah.
that it even making sense.
Well,
If
unless
anything,
they
it's going to
do
harm
a-
the. It's going to retroactively harm the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
Which
mean,
is
they could do like a prequel that's not Emily Blunt, you know. So maybe someone who had this power before them, like at the let's say at the first time the mimics attacked, there could have been someone who had that power, but it would be doing the same story over again almost.
yeah.
Exactly, and we're just going to end up rehashing the same stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
so you've got Tom Cruise. He goes to see Emily Blunt, who's doing this, and I actually think that she.
Live to you, I repeat. Sure. It's a good
Don't
one.
forget the tagline should be like Tiger's Blood.
This is the creepiest smile ever, by the way. I feel like if there was CG in this movie, it was for this scene, because this does not look natural at all.
I mean, I like it, but yeah. So I mean, that, ladies and gentlemen, was essentially Edge of Tomorrow, also known as a Live, a Die, a Repeat.
Also known as All You Need Is Kill.
Yes. And yeah, so Cannoli, this is what we were saying before. Like, it's basically like CGI walls in the background.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can tell.
I didn't realize you were still using that.
It's like
Yeah.
CGI walls in the background, and then they have the sand, and man, it looks muddy as fuck.
But it's done. It's done well though. You know, the CG,
Mhm.
everything just meshes well together. They did a good job.
What
Yeah,
would you guys think
everything-
about in chat too? About they did like a 12-episode anime version of this.
I'd watch it. I'd fucking
That
watch
would
it.
I would watch.
Well,
yeah.
I do know that the light novel has a much darker tone.
Okay.
It has a way more downer ending from what I've read. That doesn't have any kind of positives. It's like very much like they don't save the day kind of thing.
Mhm.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, well, I could see that adapted because you could make like in anime it would just flow well, and plus it would be even if it's essentially the same story up until the end where they might lose or something like that. I think that you can still pull it off really, really well because having the factor of it being anime, it just you reach a lot of new people, and there's a lot of different things that you can do with the medium of animation as well.
Right.
It could work. 100% could work.
I would do that. I would
Yeah.
watch that.
I'm surprised there isn't one, considering
There
the
should
fact
be
it's
one,
such a
really.
popular Japanese novel. You'd expect
Yeah.
to have one.
That's a good
But-
point. Yeah.
Maybe it's a rights issue. Maybe
Hmm.
because Warner Bros made this, so maybe they like rented out the rights for, I don't know, like 10 years because they thought that they would make sequels. So nobody else is allowed to adapt the specific source material. All you need is kill until maybe the contract
maybe.
expires, because that is a possibility.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
I mean, look at like on Dread, in my Dread video, I see that everyone's always saying that, oh, they should make Dread 2. They should make Dread 2. It's like most of it is just an issue with the
rights.
The rights
to the
issue.
movie.
That's
Right.
it. It's like
Yeah.
the people who made the original movie are Lionsgate, and the rights right now just go to
literally wrote a part where it was like Sky sucks Selma Hayek's toes.
You know, I was
starring Quentin Tarantino.
I was on Insta yesterday, and the first thing I saw was when I hopped on there, I saw a meme. They were like, it's Quentin Tarantino writing rules for him just to say the N-word and suck toes.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. 100%.
I love it.
When you're in that level of power, and you could just be like, "This is what you want." Let me put it this way: it's not the worst thing that anybody has ever done. Not even close.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, but nobody, even today, nobody really questions it. They're just like, if you want to suck toes, let him suck some toes. That's it.
Hell
no
yeah,
one really gives a
toes.
Enjoy yourself.
Welcome to Pop Copy.
You only live once, man.
Apparently not. You live as many times as you.
Oh yeah, live die.
That's
true. That's true.
I just have a couple of cleanup notes that we didn't get to here, so I'll just throw them out there. He does mention he's from Cranberry, New Jersey, so New Jersey represent.
Yeah.
I do like the play on the unreliable narrator because he never reveals all the details he knows, which is great.
Right.
When they found out how heavy the suits were, Emily Blunt cried, and Tom Cruise said to stop being a wuss.
It's Tom Cruise, man.
Yeah.
That's how you have to
do more yoga, lady.
Yeah. Originally, it wasn't even supposed to be Tom Cruise. It was supposed to be Brad Pitt because he had worked with Doug Lyman, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, Doug
for
Liman,
Mr. And Mrs. Smith.
Oh yeah.
Cannoli's face when you said Brad Pitt, he was so disgusted.
I mean, I think it could have still worked. It wouldn't have been as good though. It still could have worked.
Cruise sells it better, yeah. But whatever.
It was one of the very few films that's ever been pitched with an entire script, start to finish. Most of the time, you don't do that. You pitch it with a treatment and like 10 pages or 20 pages. Because it's a lot of wasted time to do a whole script.
Right.
I already mentioned the downer ending, and I did mention a lot about the World War II, but her name comes from the Battle of Verdun, and the angel is actually from the Angel of Mons, which is a story about spirits who helped the British win at the Battle of Mons. So those were some of the things I didn't get to in my notes.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. Battle of Verdun. I mean, I'm French. I even say Verdun because of how many times they say it in the movie, but in real life, you just say Verdun. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like one of the most legendary battles in the history of human existence. So it's
yep, for sure.
But yeah, so
Mons was an archer, I think, or they were archers, correct? Something like that.
So yeah, I mean, one I didn't. I just kind of found in my research, so I wasn't. But yeah. But yeah, so
it's always good to have like cool war movies like this that have a different spin on it and that are actually good too.
Yeah, done well. Yeah.
One thing I always have a complaint about in war movies is that there's not enough war horror movies or like war kind of like this where it's a massive scope of a film, but the fact that it's contained in a time loop, it doesn't make it feel as big, so it makes it feel like a self-contained thing, which is good because you're constantly re-seeing the same sets. I mean, the first time we see a different set apart from the Heathrow base and the beach is probably about like what 50 minutes to an hour into the movie, so it still keeps everything fairly localized.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't really have we covered pretty much everything. I was trying to think of like anything we might have missed in there. It was a good crew. We got through that shit.
Yeah, quick. I know, right?
There are a couple of super chats here though that we should probably
sure pull them up.
Let's see. We'll start with Waylon Basifis, who says Riedel Musa Mom Evertaski.
Yes.
I mean, she did get in really good shape for this movie.
Yes, she did.
She's since gone on to like talk about the
process.
The strong female character archetype and how much she hates it, even though and I wouldn't say it's not like hypocritical of her because this is a very unique strong female character,
right?
As it's kind of like a manufactured for within the movie's narrative manufactured
Yeah.
strong female character. It's almost doing what movies try to do now, but it was for like propaganda purposes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And
it's implied that it's earned. Like we see how much he trains, so you have to then imagine how much she trained with her time to get to be as good as she is now. So
she had nobody to train her. She had to do it on her own.
She taught
had
herself
to
everything.
Yeah, she had to like figure out the whole process on her own. He at least has her to guide.
Yeah.
So it was probably significantly. I mean, she said she went through dissections and all this stuff, and she probably was like terrified when she realized what was going on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
it's much like he was like confused, and then it was like, gotta love muscle mommies.
Jalen, you're right. Jalen is a good friend of mine. He's actually the guy that made my my banner of my cats in the DeLorean. And we talk on Discord all the time, and what we always talk about is muscle mommies. So yeah.
Jesus.
And I think this one is directed towards you, Uninspired. So
all right. RRTNZ for 10 New Zealand dollars. Sorry I can't join you. Still in the pub celebrating Wales's win. Hey, celebrate good, man.
Hey.
Rugby World Cup. My dad forces me to watch the matches for the Rugby World Cup, so it's pretty good. And Felix, which is me, will be happy to hear that I drew France in the pub sweepstakes. Yeah, Allez les Bleus. And Edge of Tomorrow, good film. Cheers.
Something in a fake language.
It's not real.
Simuruambith.
Yes, Simuruambith. Yes.
It is funny because Welsh has there's no language even similar to Welsh to my knowledge. It's its own island of a language. It's at least with French and Spanish, it's there's shared
there is a
rules.
Similarity.
English and German have shared Welsh to my knowledge is basically essentially a dead language that only a few 100,000 people even speak now, if that. So but
it's true. But I think that we pretty much covered Edge of Tomorrow, unless Cannoli or Zax, you guys want to add something that we haven't brought up about the movie, about in general.
I just want to see Emily Blunt again.
Oh, I can do that. I can do that for you. I promised you that this clip would be played a lot, so we're gonna play it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Here you go.
We need the music, that. Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You know what? I think going forward that might be a thing. I'm gonna get every time we do a super chat, it's gonna go pop up.
Just a clip of this. Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
But yeah, so I guess we're at that.
No wait, Melvin says all you need to kill is a manga in 2 parts and an anime.
Oh, there is an anime.
Oh, wow.
There is an anime.
Okay.
Huh.
I knew that they had done a manga adaptation. I didn't realize they did an anime. So
I have to start that. I have to check that out.
That's cool.
So apparently.
Yeah. There we go.
We did the same thing. Cumry. I am Cumry.
It's called Cumry. Okay, I understand why you send that now. RRT.
Oh, apparently that's So that's what that's the actual Welsh name for Wales.
Ooh. Okay.
So I guess since last time I screwed this up, I think, or second to last time.
I'll take care of the outro portion of the stream. So so
I was just okay, see y'all later.
Bye.
So Zax, what do you have to plug? Give your name out to the people. Tell them what you're doing.
I am hosting Circle of Jerks tonight at 11:30 p.m. Central. So it's a late night show every Saturday with myself, Flaccid Phoenix, and Abomination AJ. Normally he's on the show, and we kind of go for it. We kind of have fun. It gets pretty racy, I guess. And we make fun of a lot of stuff. So we've been doing a lot of cringe videos now where we just kind of we roast a lot of stuff now. Kind of it's become more of that kind of a show, but it's a lot of fun. We just hang out and try to make people laugh if we can. It's none of it's serious, and anything, this is the rule. Anything we're making fun of is something that somebody made themselves and released themselves. So if you made a cringe video and we find it, it's on you.
Yeah, it's your fault.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are always great when someone releases something that they think is going to be awesome, like, yeah, and it's just everyone just universally just fans it. It's just like,
Oh, man. But thanks for coming on, man. You got
Thanks for having
anything
me.
else?
yeah, this was yeah, I would say this about you, Zax. We hadn't really spoken much, and like basically
No.
Uninspired was like, hey, get Zax on, and we were like,
Yeah.
I have zero, I don't even know who that is. I'm like, okay,
Now you know.
yeah, sure, sounds good.
Yeah.
I have 2 channels. I have Zax, which just add Zax, and Zax Tube, which is my second channel. So I use both of them. I want to do just more live streams on one and videos and shorts on the other, but we'll see how that works out because my main channel keeps getting demonetized. So I want to build up a second channel as just as almost as a backup, really. And so I'm doing both of those. And Wednesday night is my regular show. It's at 9 p.m. Central. It's called What's Good, and we try to talk about stuff that is good, feature other creators, independent creators a lot if I can. I just had a really cool show. Tom Conkle was on my show. He's a filmmaker,
Ooh, nice.
Comedian. Nice. He's a great guest. Had him on a few times, and he surprised me by having Vernon Wells, so Bennett from Commando, show up on the show.
Yeah,
backstage. He just popped in and hung out with us for like 20 minutes, and
that was
super cool guy.
Did you kill him last?
Let off some steam, Wells.
I mean, I almost passed out, so that was
awesome.
I did not expect that at all. Yeah,
that's really cool.
So Tom's a great guy. So if you're looking to have another guest on in the future, he's a good guy to have, and he's promoting his film right now, which is
his new movie. Yeah,
it looks really cool. It's a very, very different approach to I guess a space opera or a Star Wars style movie, but with all Australians.
Oh, I'm in. I love
yeah.
Yep. The more Australians involved, the better with the project.
Yeah. Thanks, Melvin.
But how about you?
Yeah, all the links are in the description for Zax and Zax Tube. So both channels are all
and
there.
Cannoli as well, who's about to say
Cannoli. What do you got, man?
Inspired? Jesus.
Come on, Cannoli.
Oh God, let's see. We decided to torture ourselves on MMM and do Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2 parts. Ooh. So last week we finished number 1. Number 2 is number 2 is right. Number 2 is this week, Monday. I'm sorry, next week, Monday, 6:05 Pacific, which I don't know what the hell time that is in France. So
it's 3 a.m. man.
That's right. That's right.
3:05 a.m. French time, so 2:05 a.m. UK time.
There you go. Thank you, Uninspired. Yeah, so we got a stack panel for part 2 on that one, and we're pretty much half of us just bashed the movie, but we actually had a really good discussion Monday. It was more productive than I expected. So hopefully we continue that on and scrub through that movie as fast as I can. No, it's good though. I like the guests and everything. Then yesterday
it's on your channel. I would hope you like the
guests.
I hate these people.
Yeah, get out of here. I'm gonna scrub through that in 35 minutes and get off the show.
It's like, not only do I hate this movie, I hate all of you.
I hate all you people. You're done. Me and Mrs. Cannoli, Miss Sassy, last night on the Cannoli Connection.
Mrs. C.
Theme park
Sassy Squatch.
Squatch.
I'm getting that.
Yeah, we had a good interview yesterday on the Cannoli Connection with Theme Park Casual. That was fun to learn about the theme parks, how these people do what they do, and people love theme park streams. It's very crazy, but that was cool. And I have to plug Mrs. Sassy's Sunday stream because if I don't, she's gonna hurt me later.
Plug it, plug it. Yeah, Mrs. C, we're doing it. We're gonna plug it.
She's got it tomorrow at noon Pacific time, where she does her rants about all the crazy shit that's going on in the world. And she wants to make real women great again. That's her tagline. So it's a fun show. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours of her just going through news articles and information, educate people on what's happening in the world. And that's basically it. So it's a light week for me next week. But thanks for having me on, man. It's been great. It's always nice to see Zach's shoulders. And Uninspired and Darker. I've been wanting to get on for a while, and then I've been dealing with Uninspired for too long on his own. I needed some help.
So we have. It's funny because like I've told this story before. Like me and Uninspired, like we came up with the idea of just doing this show, and like we hadn't streamed together at all. We were just like, but I knew having watched him, I was like, oh, I'll get along with this guy.
You could just tell.
And and we had like an opportunity to be on a stream together, and I literally went, no, let's not do it.
It
I
was
don't
the,
want. I want
the beast of scream.
like
I don't
I was like, because what was it like? I think like Cynic
It was
had reached out to both of us, and I was
the beast of stream, where everyone was there. Like once I entered the stream,
no. This
was
was even before that. This was even before that. Like, it was one that we had both been asked to be. It was either B-Sup or Mr. Brown Alliance, and you told me you were on it. I was like, oh, I got asked too. I'm not going to do it.
You see that?
And,
I can't compete with that accent. He was the first time he was on MMM. I was like, how do I'm just gonna let him narrate the show because he's just got this wonderful accent, and I'm like, nobody wants to hear my stupid East Coast Italian accent. So,
and the one that he's mentioning is it was Cynic's 100K special, and he popped in, and I was like, oh, I'm gone. See you later. I can't be.
Can't be around this guy. No, I don't blame you.
I'm allergic to cats.
Mrs. C. We're plugging your channel. We're plugging your channel.
Oh yeah, it's plugged. It's plugged. I know.
We're plugging
Thank you for doing that, because then I can survive the rest of the day now.
He's like I'm not gonna get yelled at. So I guess it's me next. I'm working on the second part of the Why Ray Sucks series, which this one's even more interesting. Me and Uninspired are going to record his cameo for this one. Every one of them is going to have a cameo. Nice. So, and this one's about why the piloting skills and the infamous I bypass the compressor scene. Like I literally have like 2 pages worth of that just about that one line alone. So it's like that's been fun. And obviously we have in 2 weeks we're going to be on again for this.
What are we doing in 2 weeks?
I don't even know. Sure.
I have no fucking idea.
Let's find out, shall we?
Sounds like my show.
Oh man.
Oh, we're scheduled out forever. I
I know, but I always forget to. I asked Vex.
Oh, it's I still haven't heard from Rakita Law, but we're supposed to do My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but I was trying to get Rakita Law, and but the couple of times I've talked to him, I've been like, "So are you down?" And it's like, "Are you good?
You good? You sure?"
No answer. Okay, cool. We're gonna do it either way, so either you show up or don't.
So yeah, it'll be
the first one I actually created on our spreadsheet. I created an alternative guests link, like section for this specific one, but going forward as well, because I don't even know if our guest is available.
He'll pop on. He'll just say like he'll say some law jargon, and then he'll just leave. That'll be enough. But
be like something legal book something.
Legal, yeah.
So that's it for you, Dark Hour, for the plug.
Yeah, I don't have any crazy projects coming up. There's nothing really that I'm interested in streaming right now. I still don't even really know how to review a TV show. Like it's just
it's tough.
Like it's weird. It's different. It's different than reviewing a movie. So I'm not even really attempting that. Like I
only do the pilots, man. I told you already. Yeah. Like the only thing, like Andor, for example, since they dropped 3 episodes, I did the 3 episodes in one go. But after that, I don't touch the series again.
I've tried a few times to write scripts for reviewing TV shows. They just come out real messy, and I'm just like, I don't even care. I don't care enough for this. It's like But yeah, honestly, I'm not even interested in reviewing any movies until the inevitable dumpster fire that is the Marvels. So,
yeah,
I got a couple of months of just bopping around doing whatever the hell I feel like on my channel. So sure.
Yeah. So as for me, just wanted to say thank you to everyone in the chat, since this is on my channel. I hit 4K. We hit 4K.
Nice. Yeah, that's good job, buddy.
Not we, you did that yourself, man.
I mean, yeah, I hit 4K, and yeah, just. Thank you. It's incredible. And so in terms of what's going on, again, we're gonna have 2 hosts. My Cousin Vinny, that's supposed to be on Dark Hour's channel. It'll be in 2 weeks, as always. You guys know the show's bi-weekly. And in terms of me, I'm trying to get my Old Boy analysis out before the let me check the date. So I'm trying to get it out before the 30th of September, because after that I want to review The Creator, which comes out on the 29th normally. So I want to get that out before you guys, for you guys. And yeah, the Old Boy analysis is coming in pretty sweet.
Cool.
I've seen a little bit of what he's doing with that. I'm expecting big things.
That's gonna be good.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be good, man. I'm recording a bit of a section on Greek mythology and stuff like that, because I want to compare it to like a modern day Greek tragedy, essentially. So
Nice.
yesterday I watched Park
Cool.
Chan-wook's entire Vengeance trilogy. So
Great series.
really, really good.
I miss when I was in my like early 20s and had no responsibilities.
Yeah, I was gonna
Watch
say.
movies all day.
I just watch movies 24 hours a day and write. Okay, cool.
And
My favorite thing about Uninspired is he basically lives on some weird like he'll be up for like 48 hours straight
Yeah.
and be like, I'm gonna sleep for the next whole day.
Yeah,
It's true.
I've worked out
Like-
7 times and wrote 15 scripts. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, man?
It's true. Yeah, that is how it is sometimes. And so yeah, I'll have the old boy analysis up before the 30th. Normally, after that, it will be the creator review, and then yeah. So this Friday, normally, I'm gonna be on with Jay Goodwin, Atom Gray, and Barbara Lawrence, and I'm gonna be
Nice.
on B-Sides. So B-Sides is a show that Atom Gray does on his channel, B-roll, and we basically just watch live movies or a TV show episode from like the golden age of Hollywood. So it's very, very fun.
Nice.
Really, really fun stuff to do. I will I'll drop the link in the chat. So I'll be there on Friday next week. And normally tomorrow, this is unconfirmed yet, but I'm probably gonna have a stream with Jedi Brooks. So we're gonna be talking about, I think it's The Walking Dead. So
He had mentioned that to me too. He was like, "Do you like the Walking Dead?" I was like, "I like the first season." He's like, "Well,
2 seasons."
I remember that. Yeah, you mentioned something about that. I
So,
know
yeah,
that was happening.
That'd be
So
cool.
normally, I think it's gonna be tomorrow if everything is sorted out on his side. If not, I'll keep you guys posted, of course, in the community tab. And yeah, Cannoli, I'm gonna be on with
more
you.
people need to use the community tab.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be on Cannoli's MMM show essentially throughout the entire month of October.
Horror
I
movie
guess.
month.
Yeah, it's gonna be horror movie month. So he said
I
he
think
sent me
the
link.
first movie's The Shining, the first week of October. So
The Shining is gonna be great.
it's gonna be a
So,
deep dive into that. Yeah,
Yeah, and I've read the book, so I guess I'd be able to talk about that.
movie's better.
Pretty fun.
Movie is better.
I do prefer the movie. Yep.
You know what I like about I
Dr.
prefer
Sleep.
about the movie, and this goes for every single book adaptation. I don't have to read it. About
I don't blame
every
you.
single
You're not
movie
missing anything from the
adaptation.
book. To begin.
I don't care what they've left out. I do not give a shit. Clearly, it wasn't important enough for me to care.
Jana, uninspired. We're supposed to bring the pastries. He's the Frenchman.
Oh.
I'll bring it, man.
Oh, it's pronounced
I'll bring
Jana. I thought it was Jana Catania. Like I've my reality shattered now. Like, well, I think we've run the course of things to talk about on this. So I guess we're done. So
Thank you, everyone in the chat
you, everybody.
for coming by. Thank you to our guests also for passing by. Honestly, thank you guys for spending your Saturday morning, afternoon, or evening with us. So
some point of your Saturday.
Yeah, some point of your Saturday.
It's afternoon
or
now.
your Sunday. In certain parts of the world, it's Sunday.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, you never know. Or your Sunday. So Dark Hour. You play the outro because I always fuck this up.
Don't worry, I got it, buddy.